Yes, yes, yes. What is going on, good people? This is MC with everybody's hip hop label, co-author of the Boom Bap Review. We are super excited about tonight. If you're watching the Facebook live stream right now, you know why we're excited. You see the man here. We're going to introduce him, set the room up in just a moment. I do want to say, though, if you're in Cincinnati, in the area, and you're masked up or whatever, please go on over to Everybody's Records in Pleasant Ridge. They do a great job of promoting things that we do in the hip hop community, and we like to give back. So Everybody's Records, you can check them out online too at everybodysrecords.com. Really dope independent mom and pop record store. So shout out to them. And if you don't have your copies of the Boom Bap Review, we got a couple copies right here. It's volume 2, volume 1. And if you're not up on it, you can check it out at boombapreview.com. And we just launched a digital magazine dedicated to the music that we love. So you can check that out. It's free. You can download it. You can check it out online. That's at boombapmag.com. So check that out, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the room someone that we are all so excited. Before we went live tonight, we were all just like, just excited, happy, almost get in a giddy state, because this man has inspired us so much throughout the years. His group, things he's said and stand for, is just we're just really excited to dig into a good conversation with someone that we look up to, and we're just going to pay respect. And with this week, a lot of people celebrating hip hop this week, August 11th, a lot of celebration going on. So we want to continue that celebration tonight and celebrate, not just welcome, but celebrate to the Boom Bap Chat. Please welcome Brother Jay. Brother Jay, what's up, man? How are you?
One love, man. One love.
Yeah, there we go. Delayed applause. Delayed applause. Brother Jay, it's so good to have you here. Really excited. We're all excited to have you. My man Profound is here. Want to say what's up to Profound. What's up, Profound?
What's good, MC Till? What's good, Brother Jay?
Yeah, man. What's up, family?
We also have iomos Marad here. What's up, iomos?
Yo, peace, Till. What's going on? What's up, big bro?
Yeah,
Brother
man.
Jay, Brother Jay.
One love, man.
And as always, lurking in the background, the executive producer of it all is Neville. What's up, Neville?
Brother Jay, what you say? Brother Jay, what you say? Man, verbalize what time is it?
Yes. So, Brother Jay, before we dig into a conversation, we like to pay respect and give roses to our guests. We have people on that we respect. So I'm gonna throw it over to Profound for that. So go ahead, brother.
Brother Jay, man, it's an honor to be able to meet you for the first time. Even though it's virtually, brother. I came up and y'all on X Clan, and the era and what you do and what y'all said and the things that you say and y'all stamp on the movement and the culture definitely made me an MC that I am today. I've taken from you, I've taken from KRS, I've taken from Public Enemy, Lakim Shabazz, Queen Latifah, everybody. I'm from that era. So I just want to say thank you, man, because in this day and age today, how music has changed, today it would be difficult to find an X Clan. You understand what I'm saying? Today with everybody. And I just want to say thank you for your contribution to the culture and what you guys stand for. And we want to give you props, man. And I just want to say love and thanks and respect.
Thank you, man. Most honorable, my Lord. No doubt, no doubt. Thank you, man. I have no choice, man. It's freedom or death, man. In order to get our people free, that was the medium that was delivered to me, man. Blessed through the mic, man, and open minds, man. So, I'm glad that reciprocity exists on this program right now with us linking as brothers, man. So honorable, my Lord. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Brother Jay, I wanted to start with something that I heard you say on another interview. This is the Boom Bap Chat. We put out books called, Boom Bap Review, the Boom Bap Magazine. And you were on another Full Blast Radio with DJ Tiger, really dope interview. So if y'all haven't seen that, check that out, please.
Yes.
But you were talking about how you don't rhyme like you used to rhyme back then. And You said, I rhyme like the future of Boom Bap. And that really stuck out to me. I was like, yo, that's dope. So I would like to start there, just ask you, can you expand on that as far as what does Boom Bap mean to you? And what does it mean when you say I rhyme like the future of it?
Well, when we first started in hip hop, as far as my journey was concerned, you know, all of the elements were an interest. You know, I didn't go at the elements of hip hop like I want to advance financially. You know, I did it because it connected with my frequency. So I started with DJing. You know, I started with, you know, seeing and studying the elements. I learned how to beatbox. I wasn't talented in the breakdancing department. So I picked elements that grab to my frequency. Now, when you practice something for a long period of time, it becomes a technology. Feel me? So Boom Bap is something I adapted to. I was spinning it, and then I learned how to spit on top of it, how to ride the pockets. So anything that I would present in the future, if I continue something, would be the future of that situation. And that was how I was talking about it in that interview. You know, I'm advanced Boom Bap. I'm not, you know, somebody sitting somewhere off the top of their dome with the simplicities. I'm a writer. You know what I'm saying? And I know how to find the pockets and the frequency that make the people want to pop lock and make them want to draw the art better. I contribute to the elements now, no longer a student of them. So, you know, that's where I was building on in that statement, my lord.
Yeah, that's dope. And the voice, someone, I put it out there that you were coming on tonight, and I was like, yo, you know, y'all got any questions? What should we ask? And my man Craig on IG, he asked a brilliant question. I love this. He said, what did your voice sound like as a kid? Did you just wake up one morning and have the illest voice ever?
Yeah, I get that from my pops, God bless, man.
Okay, right on.
He passed when I was doing East Blackers and whatnot, right at the end. And his voice always comforted me, you know, wise and guidance and whatnot, you know, he always given to me. And my voice and his are exactly the same, man. You know what I'm saying? It's my gift from my Lord, you know?
Yeah.
So definitely, man.
Yeah, and your voice is almost like your voice is like a, what is it called? Onomatopoeia. It's like but it represents like the things that you talk about. Yes. It's just like your voice is the perfect, you know, representation of the things you talk about. You know what I mean?
Like Malcolm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad to have the gift, man. I you know, the Creator blessed me, man. I'm glad I had the sense enough to listen and do what was right with it, man. So, you know, definitely honor on that, bro. Definitely.
Yeah. Like Neville said in the chat, very authoritative. But like, almost like in an inviting, welcoming way. Like the thing that I loved about X Clan was like you had such heavy content, but it was fun to listen to as well. Like the beats were banging, the bass lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I was given the basics of things that we were learning, you know, along a unique journey. You know, that Exodus album that the brother Neville held up earlier, you know, that was a symbol of, you know, the elders that were around us at that time frame. It was really a tribute to them. So, you know, I was drawing from these elements and giving them through the rhyme verse because, you know, nobody was taking the time to use this freedom of speech correctly. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you get in front of thousands of people, man, and everyone is spot on to what everything that you're saying, it should be powerful and profound. You know, I've never seen it any other way. You know, I've seen it misused, but for me to jump into the game of what it is, especially being a movement member at the time, you know, that could have been a serious distraction to what I was learning at that time as a Black Watch member. But, you know, the fact that Brother Lumumba, God bless him, Professor X, he, you know, found a unique way to blend the two, you know, to start a movement that was based on, you know, making sure that we have rights in this music. And then also, you know, I'm fighting for the rights of our people, not stopping to do an entertainment thing. So it was a blessed platform to be a part of, man. Very unique time frame, you know?
Yeah, you mentioned the Black Watch movement. Neville asked about this. I'm curious about it too. Can you speak to that? Like what it was then? Did it morph into something else? Is it still around? Can you just speak on that?
Well, Black Watch movement was Black nationalist movement out of Brooklyn, New York, founded by Professor X, Lumumba Carson. And his father's influence as a Black nationalist, he had done films and did community efforts that, you know, made him an outstanding speaker for our people. So the Black Watch was basically bringing it over to the next generation. So Lumumba being like a promoter and a manager at the time, you know, without the crown and without all the adornments that y'all see us in, you know, just being a brother of the community, he was bringing a lot of popular artists to Brooklyn, you know, and this was attracting people to say, man, you know, the movement and the artists that you bring in, Just Ice, Big Daddy Kane, this is when Cass was 5%, and Math and shit like that. So it wasn't like you was inviting Megan Thee Stallion or something and somebody was, you know, twerking in the middle of the park in front of the families and shit, you know what I'm saying? So these were people building on God math, you know, creatively. You know what I'm saying? Some of their songs were kind of kooky, but, you know, people just chalked it up as that's entertainment. So the Black Watch was basically Lumumba collecting other children of the elders who were interested, who were already in the hip hop generation. You're basically born into it. You know, hip hop is what's hip. So if you had your ear to the street, if you listen to music, if there's a popular dance or whatever, it's most likely hip hop. If it's in the Black community, it's 80% of the time, 90% of the time.
Right.
So it made sense to start snatching these elders of the children of the elders because, you know, 6 times out of 10, they may have the ability of the elders, you know, before them. You know, sometimes it don't go like that, but, you know, this was a place that we can sift that out, you know, so that movement was very pivotal. And then as the music started and to expand, you know, I joined there as X-Clan. So I was able to bring my group that had been shopping for a record deal somewhere. I was able to join the movement where I could be one with my poetry. And now I'm like a journalist of what's happening for my people around the world. Now look how I override MC and the ego of wanting to be nice and all of that. I want to be a journalist for my people. You know, as I'm reading different manuals, I can be like, yo, we forgot about, you know, what a leg bar means. Translate him in Catholic science, translate him to this, you know, find your connection to what this is, whatever the element. So it wasn't like, you got to think this way. It's like, what does this name mean in your, you know, ethnicity or your thought system or whatever. So I was throwing little popcorn trails of things because it would be boring as hell for me to just read a book and just make it rhyme. You know what I'm saying? You got to be dope. So, you know, funkin' lesson is a natural thing with me. That's why it was part of my title, because it was natural with me to be able to you know, digest levels of math and different things that were happening in the environment and then make it dope for someone to experience. And I didn't have to be a storyteller. You know, I wasn't a storytelling rapper at all. And I wasn't a hook making cat either. I was talking to Sir Jinx today, and I said, you know, I never was known for hooks. I think Grand Verbalize is probably the only thing that you can sing hook wise from East Blackwoods. So I'm proving that lyricism can be respected. We charted with those albums.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So lyricism done right in the right pockets, you know, can open a different door. So putting that over to the movement, that opened the door where we can still stay Black nationalists without compromise. It didn't have to be a boring experience when it comes out of your mouth. And that was an art. So it naturally sifted off the sucker situation, everybody trying to step up and I'm positive and you got to accept me. No, if you corny, then you got to go back to the lab. You know, just because you're saying something powerful don't mean I have to clap to it. You know what I'm saying? You know, so we kind of set the standard in the movement, and that kind of evolved it from just picking the eldest children to now opening the doors to those that are chosen. They may not be MCs. They may just be good warriors. They may be, you know, good caretakers of the people when we do our movement thing, making people feel comfortable to join and recruit. You know, there's levels of what the movement evolved to be from its original intention, but I saw what the brother was trying to do. You know, he was, you know, and I was young. I'm a teenager at this time. I joined Black Watch like 16.
Oh, wow.
And then I was doing those albums like 17, maybe 18 years old. I didn't go there for music. You know what I'm saying? I went there for the camaraderie. You know, I didn't join gangs or any of those other things, you know, think tanks and all that other stuff. I had a movement. You know, I could be 20, 30 deep coming to a basketball game. You know, one of my ball games, my brother's coming through the door to support me. It was a different beast for me as a young man. So, you know, growing up in that and graduating through levels of that, you know, and becoming a seer eventually, you know, it meant a lot to me. And I told that journey through those projects. And that was the standard for the movement to say, if you want to be a messenger, you got to step up to the level. You know what I'm saying? When ISIS and Queen Mother Rage and them were earning inside the movement, they earned their right for the mic. It wasn't like you pretty, come on and get on camera. It wasn't any of that, you know, allowed in my movement, man.
Right. Or you have X amount of followers or whatever.
None of that. It was based on none of that. It was based on your dues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those sisters and brothers earned their positions when they were traveling on the road. You had to earn those positions. Yeah. And when it became where those levels of how can I say of earning were subtracted, and it was just like, you know, come with us, you know, after the shows, and come on and experience what it is. This is not an amusement park. You know what I'm saying? I think that was a mistake in our leadership, because we're talking about Black Watch and how it was good and then how it was bad. You got to keep your original, you know, principles of what you're doing. You got to keep that intact. You can't ever bend with that. And music makes you want to, because people coming up crying and singing your music, and they're so dedicated. They paint red, black, and green on their face, and you thinking, like, wow, this is a dedicated person. Oh, you gotta weed out the groupie in that and find the soldier. You know, and when you're touring and going through all this other thing, you don't have time to kind of filter those things out. You got 5 minutes of funk to weigh a person's heart to see if they're ready to get in the movement. And that's why I say the two don't mix. You know, I speak about that in our documentary heavily, about how the music and the movement don't mix at certain places, you know.
Definitely have the documentary down in the notes to get into. Iomos, Profound, Neville, anything?
I was going to ask, Brother Jay, can you speak to like the importance of the responsibility it takes to be an MC, and the influence that you have when you on the mic and you know, you projecting and you speaking to people? And I say that because definitely your music, you know, at the time that I was growing up, I was coming into your music and Message to the Black Man at the same time. Right. You know, and years later that sent me to the Nation and the FOI, you know what I'm saying? And I look back at it now, and being the MC that I am now, I'm all making sure that I'm saying something to make sure that the people, you know, that I'm saying something that's tangible for the people. Right. And I just wanted to know, could you speak to why that responsibility is important as an MC?
All right, so picture an MC as a young reverend, all right? And you're building your congregation. And you gotta think, as a young reverend, you know, I don't mean to put it like in a churchianity type of mental, but it's something that everybody can relate to on here, all right? You Black, you understand Black church, you understand, you know, Catholic church. This is America, church and state. All right. So now you're a young reverend, you're building your congregation. You got to say to yourself, well, you know, what is my theme? You know, what my, you know, how strong is my theme, and how impressionable is that on my congregation? You know what I'm saying? So where you got to weigh your dark and light side. Like, do you just come to your congregation and get your ego off and tell them throw money in the basket, just like you say, buy my record? All right. So you got to weigh, like, the responsibility here is that I got to keep a clean communication with my congregation to make sure that the wisdom I'm giving is coming back and making it stronger. And this house has to grow. Now, as the house is growing, you're growing from around the way to now multi-states, and then multi-states becoming countries, continents. All right. So now you no longer the little reverend on the corner, you TD Jakes now. All right. Everything that you kicking now is like Reverend said it can grow like that in a heartbeat. So you got to weigh yourself first to say, you know, before I put my pen to the pad, where I want to take people to. And is it worth the time? Am I just going to throw fluff at you and say, I'm an amazing, you know, muse and I can put words together clever? Or is there something to say, join me in the effort? Because you don't want to be a cult leader either. You know what I'm saying? You can start a cult as an MC. If Kanye said tomorrow, yo, man, I want y'all to do A, B, and C, he has enough influence. If they didn't stop him, he might have been a candidate for president. And mind you, this was a young kid in Chicago making beats. And then all of a sudden you got option to just be like, hey, tomorrow I want to run for president. And you got enough following to do that. That's how deep that responsibility is. That can happen overnight. You can find the algorithm of people that says, yo, man, I love this dude. He takes me to another dimension. I love this sister. She takes me to another dimension. I want to follow them to the end of time. That can happen with this. You know, music is close to sex and drugs, bro. You know what I'm saying? So the responsibility of how you know, dispense it, you know, is important. You know, seeing that first will guide your pen. That's why I'm amazed at how crazy it is right now and how folks have allowed it to go so far to where they're awarding high accolade situations to people that are so lower self. It's just trash. And it's not a judgment on them. I'm just surprised that it's allowed through the door. There was a place for it. All right. To where if you want to go into an adult situation and that's the music that's cracking, that's how a lot of people were breaking open different levels of underground at one time. So those people who write say, yo, man, I'm writing for the strip club strictly. I'm writing for where the ballers come and meet the fly chicks at. I'm writing for that. They can, you know, they can focus. If the theme doesn't always have to be positive, my lord. You know what I'm saying? It's just where you want to focus your pen to say, well, I feel I will be best in this place. And that's where your responsibility becomes, because you can start chaos in both a positive world and a negative world in the blink of an eye. That's where the responsibility lies at. You know what I'm saying? You making the decision to say, is my destiny to build on the flowers and the trees and the universe, save the whales? Or is it, you know, slap girls on the ass and make it a better day? You know, whatever it is, you have to make that decision. And the responsibility is that you can control minds with that power, no matter what you're talking about. There are some cats who talk filth out of their mouth, and they're very positive people behind closed doors. I wish to me, you're not truly nice unless all the elements meet in one place. You feel me? When you're a good person and and the music matches, that makes it overwhelmingly dope for me. You know what I'm saying? If you got the dual personality, you got two faces, that's never a good thing to have two faces. Just common sense. So the responsibility is to stay one and present one and then speak whatever it is off your tongue, because regardless of the content, the magnetism is important. The influence that hits the head is important. All right? That's where it's at. That's why I had to stop. I don't want to judge people, because I feel all people should use this platform in a positive way, because that's how I live my life. But I understand the benefits of negative and positive energy. Some things that I may feel good, somebody else may feel bad about. So instead of judging others, it's like, well, you know, whatever it is, at the end of the day, know that you affect people. And as long as you're doing a good thing with that way that you're affecting them, you won't have no argument out of me. But if everybody's going to be questioning their genders and going through all kinds of things in confusion, you know, and you're promoting all kinds of different stuff for monetary, you're not caring how much influence, I'm going to have a problem. I'm going to have a problem. That's part of that responsibility in my mental, my lord.
Thank you.
You speak in my heart right now, man. I swear, dude, like that's me, man. Everything you said is me, brother Jay. And I just feel like I'm outside of everybody else. Like I feel like everybody is going in a direction, and it's only a few that's going in the opposite direction where everybody else is going. And I feel like I do, like I have to, it seems like I have to like check myself, because I feel like I'm judging everything, and I don't want to do that. Like you said, like, but it's like, it's what you said. Like, if you're not saying something with a purpose, what's the use?
What's the use?
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's life and death is in the power of the tongue. So I want to speak life instead of death. So why would I want to speak death when I can speak life to my people? Because my people I'm from the south side of Chicago, and there ain't nothing but death. So my people need life. We don't need no more death. We need life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just amazed at how young you were to have that so much knowledge. Like, I'm blown away. You were 16, 17 years old. I wish I did have a mental like that, but you helped shape mine. So I appreciate, thank you, because you helped shape mine. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to reach out. This was what Black Watch was on. Yeah. Everybody in this room would have a Black Watch mentality right now by the way that we have agreeable energy. You know what I'm saying? We can build on topics and debate and and have rebuttal and all kind of thing. But at the end of the day, the energy is agreeable. All right. And brothers have to learn that. You know what I'm saying? Sisters have to learn that. It's like, yo, we can have a little word debate and come to a reasoning, but our energy has to remain agreeable. We have to say, yo, man, I'm about life, regardless of whatever we argue about. As long as you still about life, then we're good.
Yeah.
All right. If you worshiping the death tactics that they put on us right now, then you're not in my spirit, because I'm trying to get people to live more and appreciate wellness and life and the robustness of that, man. I'm not trying to worship the death that they put on us, and we got to watch people with knees in the back of our brothers in the hoods and whatnot until they expire on these gadgets and shit. You know what I'm saying? We've been fighting this same battle for 1,000 years, man. You know what I'm saying? Why can't we speak about life? I tell gangster artists right now, I'm in California. I've been out here 20 years. So I have friends throughout many sets. And my constant question is like, why is there never lyrics about reform? How is street knowledge killing another man and telling the story about it like you wear it like a badge? That's not what's happening. When they lock you down in prison, you're not hollering bang, bang from your cell, I kill everybody. You hollering, I'm sorry, I love my woman, I miss my kids. All of that. I would rather you write from that place than write from, I want to get out of this cage and kill more dudes and do whatever. It's not entertaining. And then again, to what the brother said about responsibility, if you create that kind of worship of the prison system and what got you there, then you're influencing a negative thing, bro. Somebody's gonna be like, yo, man, I'm hungry today and I don't feel bad because artists A, B, and C told me go get mine by any means. So instead of getting your freedom by any means necessary, like somebody else would say, you're gonna get your cash and your cream by any means. You live in the other polarity. And for these cats who've had so much experience dealing in and out of the system, you should be building on things. Look, man, Biggie Smalls broke down how to sell cocaine or do something. He had the commandments and all this other thing. And and as much as people admire him for breaking open from a hood dude to an R&B hip hop star, or whatever the case may be, that's backwards. There should have been conscious cats reversing that. Creating the new commandments for the agreeable minds who say, yo, I don't fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? I may like Biggie as an artist, some of his music, but I don't absorb nobody trying to teach me or anybody else how to hustle and feel like, just because 2 million people bought the record or whatever, that is the way. Some people follow those things to a T, dog. Some people see Luke Skywalker on camera and go get the cape and the saber the next day.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You got to think, man. Everybody's mentality is different, man. You make me like, nobody's gonna believe this, man. I'm gonna be the biggest gangster in Chicago right now and talk about. You may just be a suburb kid, man, who ain't never seen nothing but a corner fight at the store or something, man. You ain't seen no shots bust. You ain't seen no death. You may feel let's to go all out. Yo, man, that's not what it's about, bro. This is the one place where the art has to be part of your journey and your wisdom. And when they separated the two and made it like, you can just paint a picture. You can be whatever it is. You can be the greatest stripper in the world. Go up there on the stage. I got 20,000 people. If you take it off, they'll believe it. This is the responsibility of these impressionable minds, on these impressionable minds that we got to be aware about as an MC, a master of ceremony.
Man, speak that, bro. I can listen to you talk all day, brother Jay.
Yeah.
Let's go, bro.
Hey, brother Jay, being that back then, like when y'all started, or when y'all was really popping, Speaking Truth wasn't popular. So did y'all run into any unsafe situations because of the music?
I think that we always ran into issues, man. Just being, because it wasn't about music for us. We was going through this as a movement for the longest time, bro. We rolling with Sonny Carson, brother. So, Sonny is always challenging, the elements of New York. Is extreme racism. It's a great melting pot of New York, but it's extreme racism there. It's a silent racism. You know what I'm saying? So, we always had issues, but you get a hard shell when you're a Black nationalist, brother. You know what I'm saying? When you say freedom or death, you really mean that. So we brought that into music. We didn't go into music and then went back and said, I'm not conscious enough, or I'm not, trained enough. We already knew what we were going to use this platform for. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we're always going to run into the prejudice. I think we ran into it more in the music than on the streets. There were times where people were blocking us because we had influence over towns. We started dropping songs like FTP and stuff like that. People took that, start fights in the arena because they look at any level of security like the beast. Okay? So when you singing FTP, now I'm thinking like, I'm from New York, I'm witnessing it every day. Let me make this anthem. The elders inspired me. I hear them say FTP. They weren't cursing like that, especially in front of young heads, not as much. Depending on who you were. But, they had, little symbolics for things. So I heard FTP. I said, what's that mean? He said, fuck the police. And I said, yeah. I said, that's it. I wrote that immediately. I took the sample Ripple. I think they knew it from Special Ed. And I just looped that shit up, mixed it with some En Vogue, and I just broke down the moment, man. We were in the middle of war. And I'm a samplerist DJ. I made East Blacklist off a 6-second sampler and one turntable and a radio with half a speaker. Every day just being enthused to say, yo, man, I'm going there with my stuff prepared. I didn't have a lab in my crib. I took everything from my mom's stereo to going to the club, going to the graveyard of turntables in the back of clubs, taking the arm, taking whatever, and I built my set, and it worked magic for me. You know what I'm saying? So I bought all those vibrations into the movement, man. Being self-sufficient, you know what I'm saying, and not begging, like, please give us a record deal so I can buy a MPC and all this other thing. Nah, man. You giving me budget enough to go rent the studio time. That's all I need, because once I get in there, I know what to do. I know how to flip it and make it what it is. And, that the result was those projects that we were building on earlier,
I did not know you did the production. That was you.
Yeah. Wow. That was the thing. PX believed in me, man. He and then Shaft was a master DJ. So, we always used to roll around New York getting the best breaks. Yeah. I was just telling Daddy-O Sessasonic that, him letting us in, because we were in the movement. So a lot of people were kind of scared of what we were doing. That's like if somebody joined the Black Panthers or something, their mentality is a little different. Yeah. So, so my high school mates, Q-Tip and Jungle Brothers, and they were traveling and doing all kind of things. We in the country, we in the States fighting, police and, racism and all kind of foolishness on the streets, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And these brothers is traveling. So when he allowed me to come to Calliope to reunite with my fam, open the doors, him and Biz, by the way, God bless Biz. You know what I'm saying? And this was fresh off of Milk and Giz success, because Daddy-O was responsible, partially for that. You know what I'm saying? So, so things were happening. Is for us to be able to peek outside of the movement window, to just be able to look at my brothers now bringing breaks from Japan and different things. That inspired me, like, yo, we're going to dig so far in the crates, homie. We going through every garage sale. We going to every family house, and we're going to come up with some ill stuff. And, I was really on that. That's why Grand Verb and all those songs, when they was telling me, like, Rakim used that. And I was like, Rakim didn't make the beat.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put some of this X-Clan spice on that, and when they hear mine, you know the difference now. Yeah. When Grand Verb comes on versus Microphone Fiend, care if it's the same break or not, it's different.
Yeah, it's definitely
the content is different, the flavor is different, everything. And I never stepped on anyone's toes when I use those beats. And I had to clearly say, like, look, I found this break just like you found it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I flipped this break just like you. You did yours. I did my drums a little differently. De La used Knee Deep. I use Knee Deep differently. Funk and Lesson and that song, Me, Myself, and I sound totally different, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
It speaks to the creativity back then, though.
Bang.
You know what I mean?
This is saying to the movement, like, yo, you can be conscious and flip up things that these cats are doing and just doing, you know, fluffy lyrics or whatever. And take the popularity of the break itself, because people were piggybacking the popularity of the break.
Yes.
All right. You sampling James Brown because there's 10 million James Brown fans that will recognize Funky Drummer. Look what it did for Run DMC. How many times did they flip that break, man? Mm-hmm. So, you know, as a DJ first, and then learning how to MC later on, because I got tired of hearing weak lyrics. Even as a beatbox going to school, I got tired of hearing weak lyrics. I was like, yo, man, there's a better way to do that.
Yeah.
And then I increased my flow and I said, I'm not going to be touched. And I saw how the guards break down the math. I saw how, you know, entertainment dudes, you know, cats who was ball players trying to be double fly when you was playing ball and rhyme, and you basically king of wherever you at. You know what I'm saying? Real talk MCs on this line. You know, when you the master of ceremony and you got other talents as well, everything is magnified, dog. You know, so I'm learning from cats like that. Like I said, I want my lyrics to be unfadable, you know, to where I'm building on things not to confuse people, but to lead them somewhere else. And my training in the movement enhanced that. Now I wasn't trying to make mystery, like figure me out and I'll tell you later on. I was like, no, when you go find, you know, who Ra is and this and that and who Harriet Tubman was and this and that, you'll go find 10 things that I didn't find. And when you meet with me, we're having a full conversation. Did you know Harriet did this, man? You let me to do this. Now I'm learning. Yeah. Again, the reciprocity is what I was seeking and making those projects, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I wanted it to bounce back to me to say, I know there's other cats young like me who's studying and reaching for something else and looking for keys. They're not looking for just an answer like, who is this? Oh, okay. And when was he born? They're looking for keys.
Yeah.
Because our culture was stolen from us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? Absolutely. So we're looking for keys to twist inside the DNA locks to say, yo, man, I know there's a greater person. I know my voice gets bigger. I know my mind expands more. I know I can build rockets without using the chemical man's things. You know, you're gonna connect to where your imagination and your dreams take you and try to bring it as much into reality as possible.
Absolutely.
That's what you're looking into science for. You know what I'm saying? Most times when you're reading in depth like that, you know, at least on my side, I can't speak for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I was looking for. You know, I was looking for keys, and that's what we say with the key.
Yeah.
You know, so we walk in and giving the keys to people to say, yo, man, unlock your parts of your DNA and do it in the funk of things. Don't do it like a robot. You know what I'm saying? Who is Yeshua? You know, who is this? You know, who is that? You know, you don't want just straight answers to things. You want to say, who is Yeshua and what was his travel?
Absolutely.
Why did you change it to a business of Jesus and didn't tell the story of the young man who was born of this woman who made it with an exceptional person? Why you know, put it in the angel came from the sky and did this and put it in such a thing where I can't relate in reality? I want to know the human side of what's happening. So when you study past the wall of lies, you got to dig deeper than Atlantis.
Deeper than the seesaw. Travel by the mantis.
You copycats will never know.
Copycats will never know. Like a polar bear swing on vines with the gorillas. Please.
Correct. And that was better than saying, you know, how can you be white and survive in my hood? It's not about that. The gorilla's not going to survive in the North Pole, and the polar bear's not going to survive in the jungle.
Yeah.
All right. Period. So it's a polite way of saying we are different, but we still are living beings. And we can tell each other's story from where you come from. Find your culture. Let me find mine. Let's sit at the table as men and women and build. It's not a rude thing to say, fuck you. You can't come in my jungle and swing around. Well, I can't go up in the Antarctic and do whatever. I'm not,
right.
You know, and people make it other thing. They start to connect all, oh, you calling them caucus this and this and that. No, man, yo, there's too much humanity on this world to just put everything in these little strange pockets and myths.
No doubt.
You know, it's an information age. Do your homework.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The computer's on your hip. What's the excuse now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You were lazy before, didn't want to go to the library.
Yeah.
You know, this is why I
said no excuse.
Yeah, swimming in the books and the books ain't given. Scales of the second and ways of the living.
Yeah.
You stick yourself in the library, you're not experiencing life. You're not living that true and living science. You gather all this intelligence to make it wisdom, to manifest an overall understanding, natural math. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I was kicking to them as a young man. It was common sense things. It wasn't giving them a manual to study the rhyme and then you'll be the almighty whatever the hell may be. No, these are popcorn trails for you to find your way. Find a movement. If you don't find us to recruit to, find something in your neighborhood or build something if you are ready for that. Don't build it if you're not ready.
Yeah.
Don't self-proclaim yourself something that you are not. Like cats self-proclaim themselves MCs when you make words click. It takes more than that. You're right. You got to get into the tank. You got to get hit in the head a couple of times and be like, oh man, somebody showed me that my flow is not as deep as I thought it was.
Man, and I say exactly what you said, and I get burned for that. Like, I feel like it's a surface level. Like, okay, when you listen to it with surface ears, it sounds good. But when you start stripping it down and dissecting it, you're like, this cat ain't saying nothing. You're not talking about nothing. Like, it sounds good, but you're not saying nothing.
But think about it.
Talking about.
Think about it now as a grown man, when you go back and listen to that 90s era, all right, half of that stuff that we thought was dope and bomb because it's your first experience. It's like your first sexual experience. You think it's the best you ever had in your life. And you go back and it was weak. It was weak. We supported a lot of weakness. So when they look at the numbers and say, well, damn, these cats don't really sound like anything, but it looked like everybody liked them. That's what the algorithm is saying. They look at that blueprint on how to build theirs. Okay, so we failed. All right, my generation failed. If we weren't retiring out of rap at a certain age to say, yo, man, we got to run these labels. Make sure the administration is right because they don't have anything from the label all the way to the program director that's choosing what gets picked. They don't have anybody as a safety net in that realm. So what's going to happen, these cats are going to sell out like, yo, man, I don't want to go through the harsh trials that I hear cats had to sacrifice for hip hop. I need to skip all that. Let me get that 360 deal. You can own me. Just give me some jewels and make me look good on YouTube, homeboy. Let me skip all that. I just want to be popular. I want the girls that I can't get. I want everything that I thought I would never receive one time. We made this generation of sellouts for those that did sell their souls. We made it look like the better path because the ones who made the sacrifice don't have the riches. They don't have any of that. They don't have like walk through my house and look at my paintings and my cars and all of that. They don't have that. So your story never gets told. Okay? But the people who sold out for the deals and all of that stuff and say, yo, man, I don't have no guilt on my head. I accepted the deal. I gotta feed my family. But you a slave. And when they get rid of you, you done like you done. And you look stressed. So you're not even valuable to any market anymore if you've been drained. You can't come back and say, yo, they dropped me, but I'm here and I'm back. No, dog, you was over there entertaining something totally different. All about 60% of our heroes are that. All right? So you think about a young head looking at that, like, what decision you think they're gonna make? They're gonna be like, yo, man, I'm gonna get that and enjoy all of that. I don't care if I'm drained later on. By that time, I've had all the girls, I've had everything. I could tell a story and people will remember me as whatever. We were battling that in the 90s, bro. Okay, we was battling that in the 90s. Cats that you see now was TV stars and movie stars and all of that. They was going through that, you know, trying to figure out, do I sell out? Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I do the love song? Remember the crossover law? You wasn't supposed to be rhyming on no R&B. Okay, y'all hip hop historians in here,
Facts.
so you already know.
Facts.
Crossover law was, yo, man, don't be rhyming and doing all that. Bobby Brown helped break that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now R&B cats are seeping in like, yo, man, rap is easy. We should have had a lyricist that was so tough to say, yo, man, don't come in this house. That's what KRS was at one time.
Exactly.
KRS was, don't come in here with that.
Yeah.
Don't come in here with that.
He's still like that.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe. Yeah. Chris ain't no joke, bro.
Hey, but you got to think, he doesn't share the success of an Ice-T, of an LL, and so on.
Right.
And it's bad that they would judge that because his success is different. He's immortal in a lot of cats' lives.
Right.
That's more valuable. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we having this conversation 30 years, something I did as a teenager. You know, that's a different value for me. There's no money that can master that. To someone to say to me like, yo, I molded certain understandings in my programming. You know what I'm saying? To honor what you was given, that's different. That's a different value. A lot of cats who are on that high tier can't get that love. Okay? You were just a commercial success that we could say, oh man, you made it. That's good. All right. You on the other side. You ain't got to come to the plantation no more. You know what I'm saying? That's a quick pat on the back. That's not like sit down, break bread with me. My family listens to you. You know what I'm saying? That's a different love. I've experienced a different love through hip hop as a messenger, not an MC. You know what I'm saying? I want to give what I was learning through this. You know, it's a different love, my Lord. You know, it's something that's, you know, beyond honorable, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, you know, you reminded me of something I saw today. I want to read this quote and just, you know, see if it resonates. This is from my man Napoleon, who we've had on the show, dope MC. He's from Cincinnati, but does a lot of stuff in France.
I know Brother Napoleon. He
you know, Brother
Power remix and shit at one time. I know him.
Yeah,
yes.
Great guy. He
great
posted. What's that? I'm sorry.
Great MC. I didn't mean to cut you.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, great MC. So he posted this I guess yesterday. He said butterflies that choose to dance in the rain truly must know the risk of the pain of the drops that assault them as they float through the sky. But I suppose they're too busy being free to be afraid to die.
Ah, that's powerful. That's powerful. That means so much. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a hard shell, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a hard shell and you got to realize that the rain will end. So as long as you pushing the fly, it just gets easier when the rain stops, my Lord.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's very wise, man.
Yeah. When I read that, I thought of you, you know, artists like Karis, you know, artists that are, you know, I love that line, too busy being free to be afraid to die, you know.
Correct, my Lord. That couldn't have been broken down any better, man. Yeah. That's true poetics.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
That's Sun Tzu level shit right there.
Yeah, for sure. For real. So the album To the East, Blackwards, came out 30 plus years ago. We 31. Yeah, go ahead, Io.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back. You said, so I forgot you went to Bertram.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot you went to Bertram.
Yeah, the pyramid school.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. A lot of my favorite MCs came from Bertram.
Yeah.
Jungle Brothers, you, Q-Tip. It was somebody else that went there, right? Was that
Busta?
it? I think Mark Sparks was there.
Okay.
You know, a few producers coming out of there. Certain cats that were nice didn't make it, you know, to the industry. But, you know, those were our talent shows. The three groups you named. You imagine early X-Man before all of the Black Power movement. I had two DJs. Shaft was my DJ at the talent shows. I had two DJs like Dougie Fresh. I admired that whole setup so much that I had two DJs, Sugar and Spice. Sugar Shaft was a part of a group. Yeah. And both of them was nice. They could walk around the turntables completely. We give them a whole show. Crazy. So we had a whole group. And then Jungle Brothers, we were all one group at one time. We were called
Wow.
the Bug Out Crew or something, and then we broke up. They became Jungle Brothers. Mike G's uncle is Red Alert.
Red Alert. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
they had the radio play.
Yeah.
I went with Shaft, and then through Paradise, I met Lumumba and made X Clan by linking to that movement. Tribe Called Quest linked up with Jungle to do that single.
Yeah,
that single
the promo.
Yeah.
Right,
Right.
For DJ Philip Bennett, that was like a B-side or something, or like a second cut. And that blew up.
It sure did.
That launched, you helped launch that Tribe Called Quest sensation.
Ali Shaheed went there too. Ali Shaheed went to
Quest. That brother used to go to Sunday school with me at Concord.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. Because I remember I was a DJ, so we were all DJs. So he used to link up. He had the best jazz breaks in the game. I know his sister, everybody, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how close we were. People thought that we came from another planet, like we didn't have no life, no high school, no nothing, man. These were all my companions. And then I know all of hip hop, most of it at that time through Architect and Lumumba. Doing security for a club. I'm meeting Run DMC on a pat down. Because I'm rolling with 10 crowns in the place as young security and whatnot. I'm meeting Eric B, big ass Parkers come through with the big chains and I'm patting them down for straps at the Kilimanjaro Club and all kind of shit. I was that for a long period of time. And I used to get little, the young God can rhyme, let him get on and get one joint. I used to get on stage and there'd be Chubb Rock in the house and all kind of cats when they was, monumental and whatnot. So it helped me train my ego, to be like, I'm not trying to be better than them. I'm trying to find out where my frequency fits in this and still let me do my movement and let me understand this music thing slowly, because I'm not an MC like that. I gave that up. I don't want it. I don't want to be flat top and gold chain and walk around whoop wop. That's not what I'm here for. That's not my calling.
Wow.
So I recognized that early. That's part of why it was accepted at such a young age, because I committed to that at a young age.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just want to say one last thing. I'm sorry, Neville. Sorry. I just want to say, and to your point, to go back, and I'm gonna be quiet for a while because I'm in the process right now, and I'm not bragging. I'm just trying to make a point. Like I'm in the process of trying to get my PhD, right? So I'm doing my PhD on critical hip hop pedagogy, and I'm reading a lot of these articles and books, and I never hear a mention of X-Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers. You never hear them in the academics. You only hear Nas, Jay-Z, and Tupac. Those are the only names in academics. You never hear y'all names.
But that's
and I'm talking about even Black studies. Like that's what y'all was about. Black studies.
But marketing kills that noise.
Yeah.
All right. You think about how cats kissed Jordan's ass so much, and there was thousands of players that have played before him, and Mitch Richmond scored as much points as Jordan, at the time frame. There were cats who was really busting, but the marketing and the advertisement and who they choose to be in certain places, we have to find out who that is and either give them a check as well or box them out, bro. Because you're leaving out a lot of great heroes when you just mentioned Nas and this. Nas wasn't educating to me when he first came in the game. That wasn't the person that I would go to say, yo, I want to get knowledge yourself. Let me go fuck with Nas. He wasn't that. Throughout his years, he's become wiser. But he was not my first choice of that. They have to go back to a Melly Mel showing you the conditions of his neighborhood.
Come on, man, the message, let's go.
Or Cool Mo D, who's breaking down, small Nuwabian studies in his lyrics and shit like that. A lot of shit that they miss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot like him, Shabazz, breaking down from his Muslim studies and things. There's a lot of cats that was busting, but because the marketing is not strong around conscious artists, again, these cats signed to big platforms. All the artists you name are on big platforms who have to keep the history in rotation to say, buy that catalog, a business. So we have to make it a business, okay? To say, we're going to put money up to do our own breakdown of who means something to us. I was telling the cat this other day, I said, everybody's first hip hop dude is not Bambaataa. If I was living in Utah, the first dude to bring out turntables is not Bambaataa to me.
Right.
So who is it? Do your homework, find out who it is. Why is the wizard in Houston, K Reno, not respected? But if I say his name to Scarface, to any of those dudes down there, including Lil Wayne, whoever, they sit up like this and say, yo, man, the wizard is woo, 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 woo. But why don't we hear about this man? Okay? And if it is important, we have to figure out where it is important, why it would be important for a new age artist to be doing this, because we can't go back there and hear garbage ass lyrics. Okay? You want to say respect the history. I don't want to go back to a song where I was told to study, and you go back to some dun, 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 my flat top good and my such and my shoes. Like, come on, man. So, you know, we got to go back. We got to go back and say, okay, what was important to us? Why did we feel this dude was so dope? Because pink becomes green after a while, okay? After traveling throughout the whole shit. So we got to go and say, okay, let's go back to when this thing was pink. And really, do I want to say, yo, Nas has always been the teacher? Or KRS is always, if I send you back to KRS first joint, he was shooting and killing everybody.
He was.
Okay? It wasn't simple in hip hop. You may think like all this whole time he's been doing this, like, yo, KRS has always been the teacher. Go back to his first album. No, don't do that. Go back and tell those specific joints and stop the myth. You know what I'm saying? 80% of hip hop is people riding people dick blindly, bro.
Ooh, come on, brother Jay.
Real deal.
Speak on it.
It's always that. It's always like, yo, you seen this album cover and you saw yourself and they're the dopest in the world or whatever the case may be, and you ain't even listened to the content of the album. You just listened to the single. You heard nothing these cats said. Nobody listened to Prodigy until he died. You go back to all the catalog. So this man working. As much as a Lil Wayne or any of these other cats, but you ain't giving no love until he died. God bless him. That's ridiculous.
And Prodigy was changing. He was starting to get on your movement. He was changing. He was moving away from that before he made his transition. For real.
About wellness at some point in your life. You know you got to detox some point in your life before you leave this earth and this flesh that you're chosen to rock.
Absolutely.
You got to. So cats get to a point like, yo, man, I done made the money. I done been with the broads. I done did this. Yo, man, wellness got to be around me. And the same thing for the females. You done did all this. You done flossed the nails. You done wore the tightest dress, this and that. Let's get back to decency.
Absolutely.
All right? It didn't take Lauren to flash her ass to be #1 in my world. That girl rock content. Broke down. You brought back breaks that I've listened to, Roberta Flack and all kind of cats rocking. And y'all had the agreeable energy to make a Fugees to be running through reggae and carnival music and all kinds of shit. I'm like, sure, you riding that Bronco and not even blinking or huffing and puffing, riding that Bronco all the way out. I'm blown away that she is not the bar, bro. Okay, Cardi, if you're gonna come in the game, you gotta be doper than Lauren when she left off.
Gotta be.
You can't be in here clowning, and that's just like, yo, go to the lab. You got some of the best riders in the game. What's the problem? Why would you want to be a cartoon character when you can be eternally legendary, man? You know, when we mentioned Lauren, we remember like, yo, man, I didn't even, bro, I never thought the Fugees would get to that level. I remember Fugees as like a not mentioned group. And then for all of them to become instrument bound and the live band and all of that, they hit me over the head where I wasn't expecting it. You know what I'm saying? They were in a place performing on above George Clinton, and I'm there to see George Clinton. Like, the Fugees performing before George Clinton? This is blasphemous, dog. I'm mad. And my engineer said, yo, man, behold and watch this.
Wow.
And I've never seen such a dope show in my life. As far as how the Fugees gave at that How Can I Be Down in Florida before they cut that festival off, dog.
Wow.
You feel me? Evolution at its finest.
Yeah.
I thought that Lauryn Hill would be the bar, dog.
Yeah.
To be like, yo, females, this is our goal, to be fly, to be able to have access to take the catalogs and flip it to the next level, to whatever the generation is rocking to.
Yeah.
That's a production art.
Yeah.
Okay. So for a female to be doing that, come on, dog.
Yeah.
Unheard of, man. There's different ways that I admire certain artists. I don't give it to everybody, but that shorty had a different lane, man.
She did.
You know, she should be the bar. Like, yo, if you can't come to this caliber and more, then don't even do this. I don't care how big your titties and your ass is. There's no way. That's just two different worlds. When you rhyming on this mic, none of that matters.
Absolutely.
You in a box with just your mic and your voice and your shit. As far as I don't see you.
Wow.
I don't want to see you until you have rocked something that says, yo, man, who's that? You know, when somebody told me, say, yo, man, who's that? I don't want to see you until you hit that mark.
For sure.
So these females should be like, yo, I'm going to rhyme like nobody can see me. So your voice is not going to be mannish and boyish. Because I would instantly address you as, oh, she trying to act like the tomboy of the crew, like you want to be one of the dudes. I don't want a female MC doing that. When I heard Lauryn Hill, I never heard her voice go above a certain tone. I never sensed her acting mannish on the rhyme. Never. And there's plenty of females that do that now, twisting their lips up and you trying to rhyme like Redman and all this other thing. Dog. Yo, man, that's not it.
That's definitely not it, bro.
That's what's corny, making the game corny. We looking at these young heads. We got to look at the mistakes that we allowed. How do we allow the bar not to be a Lauryn Hill or an MC Light or whatever it is? How did that fall from our grasp to somebody else to make a decision like this is the new girl? We're just going to manufacture it. We got that check in today, so make sure she's rotating on everything. It should have been a boycott. I've been felt there should have been a boycott on radio, dog. I've been felt that we should have been voting in program directors that play what the community hears. I've been saying that, and I'm gonna enforce that. When I come with Clan Project, bro, it ain't coming just music. There's gonna be a purpose. They don't have to join Black Watch or any of that to come and get with what we talking about. If we gonna clean up this music and balance off the waves, it's gonna be an agreeable energy, bro. Straight up and down. I'm saying that on every platform that I get on, bro.
I'm with you. How do I join? I'm with you, bro.
You're doing it now. Y'all launching platforms and y'all not on no bullshit. You know what I mean? So y'all launching platforms where it's like, yo, man, clearly we're MCs and we know what's good. That's the start. Now people can join. Anybody subscribing to you now is saying, yo, I'm down with that energy. Now the agreeable energy starts to expand. Now when we communicate and say, yo, man, we doing a petition right now to get us 4 hours of clear, conscious music, something that is inspiring outside of whatever, and we are putting it to every power station. Okay? What's the check? How much airtime is 4 hours? And if you can't give us to that, then consider us turned off and you can kiss our ass. And if we don't matter to you, then it don't matter to us.
Absolutely.
Point blank. Point blank. That way you're not being used. So many people worry about being used for vote and all of that. Let's start with the frequencies that we're hearing. That's too much distraction. I'm coming home with my kid from school and I got to hear, bang it, lick it. And the kid is singing in the back doing this. Like, whoa, like really? When did you have time to do this? The YouTube is like the new bootleg man. It's like you ain't got no bar.
Right.
If a kid couldn't get it back in the days, you got to go smooth the bootleg man to get the nasty version. Am I lying, brothers?
You're not lying. You're telling the truth. Everything you said. Hey, the lie detector is going like this. It ain't no lies in what you said.
It's a new straight.
You on point, bro.
Yo, and Brother Jay, you reminded me of something, an observation,
sir,
that I've made, in that I feel like if a human being has something inside of them to get out, to create,
yes,
by all means they should create it. And I'm not one to judge what you create.
That's right.
But it does feel like the folks, you talked about program directors, the folks that have the ability to take that creation and shoot it out to the masses. It seems like they have a more of a responsibility than the one individual that created something that maybe we disagree with or don't like or don't want our children to hear, whatever.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
And I feel like at some point that to me, it seems like that was kind of a big part of the breakdown.
Right.
That those people that were the managers, that the gatekeepers, if you will.
Yes. Yes.
They just ran amok.
Hey, bro, they were the adults in the room. Okay.
Yeah,
nobody goes back and says, who's responsible for breaking this booty music sensation all over the waves? Who was the one who allowed bits to be said on a regular basis or whatever? Who opened that door? Nobody goes back and checks the administration.
Right.
You're always blaming the artists.
Right.
Okay. We have to go back and interview the A&Rs. Like, yo, man, what was you thinking?
Right.
Because their loyalty will be with us, because most likely they were fired after the job was done. So you find all the disgruntled employees, you're going to get a serious whistleblower on the game. Trust what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're interviewing the wrong people. These artists didn't know. These cats are like, oh, you like that? You really want to hear that? I can make that all day. I sit on my toilet and make it right now.
Right. And if you as Brother Jay talk to an artist like that,
right,
talk sense into him, whatever, and they're like, yeah, I see what you're saying, Brother Jay. I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna make some different music, uplifting, positive. And they leave that position of making, whatever you want to call it, mindless music, whatever. That's great for that person.
Right.
But there's another, 10,000 artists at the door that's willing to do, that other art or that other, music.
But this is the thing. I don't influence them. Nobody had to influence me to do what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You come ready. Okay. I can't make you a soldier if you came to the army. You got to pass boot camp. You got to make an impression that you can go out on the battlefield with a stamp of approval of the people that are training you. So you got to come with it. I can train whatever abilities you have and make them enhanced. But if you've already given up already before you even get to boot camp, I'm not going to sit here and be like, soldier, get up, soldier, get up. There's hundreds of soldiers that need to get ready to get out here that are willing and know what to do.
Right.
So you may just be in the wrong place. I can't sit there and influence you and waste my breath and time to wonder if you get it or not.
Yeah.
But if you come up ready, like we in this conversation, like, yo, I'm ready. Let's get the petition started. Let's get these program directors out. You know how our mind is right now, because y'all already in that position on this platform.
Right.
I don't have to influence nobody, do nothing. You've already said, yo, man, we launching this. We got the magazine. We got the chat. We doing this. And we standing up for what we feel is a true code. You're already ready. Right. All we doing is linking as comrades.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We build with the willing. You keep dealing with these people that have given up. You stopping your walk on the path to get to where you got to go, bro. We don't have this kind of time.
Yeah.
To be bullshitting, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So I wanted to ask you about To the East Blackwards, 30 plus years, 31 years this year. Exodus, which it's one of those things where like I listened to the first album, like, yeah, this is my favorite. Then I listened to the second one, like, nah, this is my favorite. It's just so good. Exodus coming up on 30 years next year, if my math is correct. How do you want these albums, or do you? I would assume you do, but how do you want these albums celebrated, 30 years in?
That's funny you say that, because I made a conscious decision to do a director's cut of those projects.
Dope.
All right, because the era and the information has to be refreshed, and I think the production has to be refreshed as well. I say this to every legend, songs that you've been doing for years, the way you perform them now is masterful. Go back and improve your production and re-release your masters, and own yourself. You know what I'm saying? Part of why cats are fighting for their masters, because they lazy. All right. you go back and just take your whole, if you made it the first time, then why can't you improve it the second time? All right. I would love to hear Brand Nubian EQ, like how Drake shit is sounding, or Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying? Before somebody goes and starts remaking their beats that they use or the breaks that they chose or whatever. I would love to hear a Wise Intelligent, you know, do a hip hop reggae type of situation, or do a EP with Damian Marley or something, and take a song like Aquila or something and just rock it. And, you know, I would love to hear that. You know, that's part of what I do. So with East Blackwoods and Exodus, I've chosen certain songs. I've remixed Grand Verb and Outrage, Verbs of Power. I remember what I chose and sampled from those things. So now that I have my own bands and quality producers around me, it's very easy to remake that music and then perform it in a way where it's going to be entertaining to someone that bought it in the 90s, because I'm not going to sing the exact lyrics. I'm not lazy. I'm gonna rock you with something that's gonna be like Birds of Power 2021. Here we go, and it's gonna be stupid. So ADAM is done like that. I released one of them. I did Weapon X, which was a reflip of Exodus. All right. So I was showing the label I was on. I said, you know, I can reflip my music from back then, use the same track and introduce it as a new song, and they thought that I couldn't do that. That song got 200,000 hits that week. You understand me? When we dropped that, you know, and I was like, you know, the same Turtles beat that D Nice used for his, it was a break from the Turtles. I think that's the name of the group, the rock joint. And I took that, I flipped it. I had somebody come in, Quasardelic and another brother from the Cameo band come in and play the organs and shit, and I just took it to the level and I rocked it. That's one of the strongest songs on my show. When that shit hits, man, and I just showing them that the production improved, makes people digest the song different. So you basically have a chance to live again. Why complain? You can just start with your hits, and then once your crowd is back onto you, then you know it's worth doing a new project.
Yeah.
Okay? Why play yourself? You got the card to say, yo, y'all still love me? Let me go show you how much I love you. I took some of our best joints, reflipped them, got with some producers, because you've been traveling. What producer can't you touch if you've been in the game for 20 years plus?
Right.
Okay? You go take the new beats and you flip them and say, yo, man, I threw a new verse in there for you. Or the whole group loves you that much. Y'all come fuck with us. And the people gonna be like, oh man, that's so dope. Oh my God, what else you got? And now you're not fooling yourself in the lab. Like, let me keep rhyming. Let me keep rhyming. You got 100 songs and ain't did nothing with them. You playing Xbox and saying, yo, let's just listen. Yeah, smoking herb and just bullshitting. When you can be reliving the whole career that you feel you was cheated out of. You know what I'm saying? I can't teach that. You got to have the ability to inspire yourself to get up and say, yo, man, I deserve better of myself. Let me go refresh my catalog. Let me go surprise my audience that paying $10, $20 to see me and say, yo, man, I used to love you when I was a kid. Now they love you even more because you hit them in the head with something even doper than what they're getting on this slop ass radio right now.
Yeah.
Come on,
Definitely.
bro.
Yeah.
That's what a revolution is for me. You imagine all the ones that really got it.
Yeah.
All right. You imagine the High Road crew just coming up on some whole shit like, yo, boom, we coming out. We gonna be stronger than Slaughterhouse right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna have a favorite with us. We gonna reinvent ourselves.
Yeah.
When the world stopped, you had the opportunity to reinvent yourself. Did you waste that time just spending EDD money or something and bullshit and buying a pack and putting down on the car or something?
Right.
Or did you really seriously put a little money to the producer to say, yo, man, let's go ahead and hit people while they sitting down and listening right now? We have never listened to so much content in our life because we don't have the time to sit down.
Right.
Okay. So now that time is had and people are like half couch potato, half moving back into the world, you got a little bit of attention span that you can use.
Right.
That's how you should use your audience base, bro.
Yeah. That's dope.
You know, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
So East Blackwood's and to your point, East Blackwood's in Exodus. I've selected songs for a director's cut, and that way they'll get now a refreshed Exodus, new covers, collector's items and things of that nature. I'm all into the NFT world.
Oh, nice.
Oh
Dope.
yes, oh yes. I understand freedom when I see it, my lord.
Yeah.
It doesn't take me to see people getting millions of dollars and all this other thing for me to understand. Like I understand freedom.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's
Real
dope.
talk.
Real talk.
Go ahead, Neville.
Wait, go. Tell what you want to
Right.
say.
Yeah, I just want to shout out someone on Facebook with a quote.
Right.
Speaking of the album, he said, Noah, this is Noah, peace, brother Jay. Shout out from the Animal Crackers. Don't know if you remember, but it remains one of our fondest memories when we got to play with you for the anniversary tour to the East Blackwards at the Pink Church in Cincinnati. I don't know what the Pink Church is, but he remembers Animal Crackers.
That's funny, man, because that anniversary was Dead Prez. I bought Stickman and Supernat with me. Dope. And we had tried to do a little tour situation. I pulled something out of the pocket and, and I said, let's go ahead and make a little run and test and see. And then if it works, then, we'll invite M1 in, complete Dead Prez, and then add someone like a Pharaoh Monch and make a little run. Stop through, get Wise Intelligent here and there. We was trying to make a little train. Because look, God, I was on Suburban Noise Records and I watched how Tech Nine and ICP and Cottonmouth Kings would connect in certain regions and do different things. So I wanted to start doing that with artists, so when I pass through Detroit, I can get with some guards that's there. I can go to Milwaukee, get with some guards that's there and just move around. And I may just have a set 3 or 4 artists, to start it off. So, cats like the Animal Crackers, they were coming in and, your support, keeping the crowd live until the main acts come on, but it's all the same love. We're sharing the love,
right?
Giving that agreeable energy to rock with, with everyone. So, I tried to do that on my own. It was deep because it was a blizzard at the time. It was a crazy blizzard in the Midwest at that time frame.
Oh, wow.
And we tried to fight through it the best way we could. And the last night was at that church.
Wow. That's cool.
No doubt. Where everybody just got on and was freestyling and, and just getting off a couple of joints. We didn't give, a full show at that time. We just let everybody just get parts of the mic and we did a couple of cuts for everybody that came out. But it was such a crazy storm. I wanted everybody to get home and get safe.
Yeah, right.
But loyalty is deep.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Well, out, man. Much respect to them, man. Much respect.
Yeah, shout out to if you don't know, Animal Crackers, Noah and the Animal Crackers here in Cincinnati. Big DJ crew here. Super dope dudes. Neville, I think you had something. I had a question. What's up, man? You there, Neville?
Yes,
you're
sir.
good. You're
yes,
good.
sir.
What's up?
I'll just put this on the record here. I did talk to a big NFT dude a couple of weeks ago, and I brought up your name, Brother Jay, regarding that. And he was like, I don't know who this is. He's from the Midwest, young dude. Yes. He's like, I have no idea who that is. I'm not messing with that. You got to bring me somebody bigger, right? So we named all of that. I'm saying to myself, man, I wish he knew. So I forwarded him this now. Let's see if he's watching, and we can revisit that. But that wasn't my question. But this is where we are. So I'm just putting that out there on the record.
Yeah, no doubt. But you're already good, brother. In the NFT world, no one is bigger than the other.
Yeah, right.
I love it. Non-fungible tokens.
Right. You already know. You know what I'm saying? The thing that makes it work.
He wants Kendrick. He wants Lupe. He wants all of these, whatever. And I'm like, nah, but you don't understand.
None of that matters because in that world, the playing field is even. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that the clan, we exist like some of the Kemet knowledge that we used to kick. We're basically an artifact in hip hop. So you can't tell me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not.
Oh man.
That world. Coming will be I don't know. I welcome that challenge on a level. I'll basically, I don't have competition in my heart, but I love to prove people wrong on the values of certain things and markets, bro. Come on, man. There's no way in the world that you're not going to tell me that Clan is rare. I'm still making albums to this day. The fact that I'm doing something with Sir Jinx right now was an NFT worthy conversation.
Boom.
So,
so you know.
I had a
go
to. I can't ask no questions.
No, but you're good. Go ahead, man. You're good.
All right, I got a couple questions. My brothers are excited. I love the flow. All right, so my question was about emceeing. You touched upon this before, but I just want to unpack it a little bit more. If it wasn't like Chubb Rock and these other men that you were watching grab the mic in real time, influencing you to do X, Y, and Z, who were, you said Melly Mel, Cool Modi, who else was really inspiring you to MC from a lyrical standpoint? And then who was inspiring you musically to attack the production the way that you attacked it, if that makes sense? Because when I was playing your albums today, and I'm like, you don't really have a rhyme flow like anybody from then till now. And the production, I hear, like you said, okay, yeah, I hear the EPMD had used that, this one used that, but yeah, you freaked it a different way. I'm just curious, what were the influences besides the movement, besides the books? Who were the MCs? What was the culture? What was the temperature that really influenced you? Otherwise.
All right, so to me, I grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn. So Flatbush, Brooklyn is like a mixture of reggae artists, you know, some of the harder MCs in the game. So, you know, cats like Spliff Star come from around my way. Lord Have, you know, those were younger brothers at the time, but that caliber of rhyming, because the cats that I was influenced by were playing ball, and then late at night was rocking the church jam or something, or the block parties and stuff like that. I was influenced by a lot of block party MCs. That's how I came across the god Ason, that y'all call ODB. I came across him like that because this dude would come up to high schools and different jams, block parties, and just be like, yo, who's the dopest here? Let's battle right now. You know, so hearing the flows and the math come from cats like that. I love the way that the math sounded lyrically. And if you look at a lot of the MCs like Rakims and Sir Ibu and, you know, early Wu-Tang, and not Raheem and whatever Jizzle was doing back then. But I'm talking about when the Gods was on the mic, you can hear the vocabulary different. And I was witnessing this where it wasn't radio crafted. This is in the park and the cats letting off the whole book of knowledge to lyrics. And I'm hearing this like, yo, this is ill, because you can't battle that. What are you gonna say? My girl is fly and such, and you done broke down the sun, moon, and stars and the principles of the tree of life and all kind of crazy shit. So it's like, you know, I'm seeing young Israelite cats with lyrics. I'm seeing young Muslim cats with lyrics. I'm seeing 5% cats lyrics. And I'm like, yo, you know, what would it be just to mash all that shit up? You know, so I started writing my poetry like that. You know what I'm saying? Just building and studying more. And then now coming out of DJing into emceeing. So it was more like that to me. You know, seeing popular cats around my way who had the flyest shorties. You know what I'm saying? You in the ballpark dunking on cats, and then later on you got gazelles and the sheepskin on with the baddest honey in the game. And I'm saying, yo, man, I want some of that. You know what I'm saying? That jogged the ego side to write. But the math really, I saw an element that couldn't be defeated. Remember I said I wanted to be invincible lyrically, you know, to where it's like an honorable mention. Like when you go to the park, somebody pick you, like I got him on my squad as soon as you show up. It could be 20 other people. I wanted to be that. So lyrically, that was that. So DJing Cash Money was my favorite, all right? Because he was flawless, all right? You were working on, before SB 1200s, you were working on the SB 12 platform. No, I think it was a belt drive type of thing, where the record is not stable. You had to put another record underneath the thing, but your scratching and chopping is flawless. Your mixing and blending is flawless. I admired that completely. And then his man that was with him, Marvelous, as a crazy show host, before Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff. Cash Money and Marvelous was controlling, the true master of ceremony and the DJ aspect, rocking. So that's what me and Shaft molded under. That's why it was the two DJs with me, because I saw Dougie Fresh rock that, and it was endless entertainment from one DJ to the next to the beatbox, and Rick comes out. So I'm like, wow, remember I'm security now. I'm watching these shows. I'm protecting these dudes as a young man with my elder brother. So I'm absorbing all of this. And then before that, I'm seeing them as a consumer. I'm buying their records. I'm seeing the videos just like everybody else. YouTube, and I'm not YouTube, but MTV at that time, and all these other shows, Ralph McDaniels. I'm seeing these cats. I'm seeing them around my way. So I'm influenced by them. The reggae artists, Shabba Ranks, and all kind of cats was right up the street from me. I stay in Flatbush, Brooklyn, Tilden Ballroom. These cats are performing as young dudes coming from Jamaica and all kind of shit. I'm seeing these shows. So imagine me absorbing all this knowledge. You feel me? And I'm putting all of that stuff together in my show, in my presence, how I want to dress, how I want to look, all of these things. Those things influenced me a lot in my travel with hip hop, Brother Neville.
All right, Brother Jay, I have 2 questions I can only ask, but I have about 20 questions I want to ask. But all right, because now you're talking about reggae now, so now I want to jump, and I'm Yardi. I'm Jamaican, never, of course.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Boy, I didn't even have this question, but now I have this question.
Right.
How does the garb, the garments, all of that, where does that play in now? Shabba Ranks has like the Clarks, right? The big baggy, and then I'm seeing y'all now with the pink caddy and the cross colors, the leather joints, the staff. Like, tell me, please, how is this coming about? And then it's consistent, and y'all doing it with such authority and confidence. Like, ain't nobody clowning us. Ain't nobody going to judge whatever the nose, right? The ring in the nose. That it's like, y'all not playing. Can you just like speak on?
Go ahead, Neville. And I just want to piggyback off of that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just want to piggyback off of that. Like, it was only few people, based off of what Neville said, it was few people that was coming into the game that you took serious when they first came on the scene, and y'all was one of them.
Bro, Jay,
when I saw y'all, it was like, yo, they command attention. Like, all that other stuff was like, yeah. But when y'all came on the scene, it was like, zoop, you was zoned in. Whatever you was doing,
right?
You just stopped doing what you was doing and listen to what y'all was saying. It was only a handful of MCs and artists
without mean mugging,
exactly,
without ice grilling, without yelling, without hardcore. Just, I don't know.
Bro,
anyway, I'm sorry.
Up every day. It wasn't like we had to switch up for record business. We wore our crowns all the time. That was, we weren't in school at that time. So, it was, our crowns were part of our identity while we were going through those lessons. You know what I'm saying? So, so the garments we had custom made as our money started to increase. Okay. We were able to buy different garments for our troops and for our people and whatnot. But we always had class, and we always had custom everything. And even with, around my way, a lot of the spots where a lot of those artists, if you look at my early shit, those are fresh off Flatbush, where all of the Jamaican artists was buying their clothes and shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I was dressed in celebrity style. When I first got my little checks and whatnot, I go right to the spot, man, and get them little, have the velvet on the jean jackets and all that other stuff that was going on. You look at the videos, dog. Oh, damaged jean jackets with the gunshot holes in it and all that kind of stuff.
Corduroys, multicolored. I was not playing.
I was
without Dapper Dan. Y'all were doing it dapper without Dapper Dan.
Come on, and then I learned from that to learn how to get my stuff custom, which really made us unique. So we was rocking. Now for the videos, we coming there with a custom hieroglyphic suit. Sister Elaine was making, totally designed by us with the glyphs and all of that. Nobody was biting us. No one was trailing us. You know what I'm saying? We be wearing $400 suits stuffed in 40 below boots, Timbos, rocking because, We are the African experience. If it be in Brooklyn, if it be in Gambia, we are the African experience. So the fact of us coming up in the city as street soldiers, that's going to be incorporated. I'm not wearing Jesus sandals at a rally, homeboy. I'm wearing steel-toe Timbos.
Stomping on phone
Walking
with
in
my
my
big
big
black
black
boots.
boots.
Stomping on
Living off
my
the
big
earth,
black
eating
boots.
herbs and
Yeah,
fruits.
that's my joint.
You see the lyrics. You see the
Big
lyrics, bro.
bod, tough.
Yeah, man. But that's what it was all genuine. It wasn't gimmick, my lord.
Definitely, and not
that's
following.
cool.
Definitely trendsetting, and then even like the two-tone with the videos and the effects, and yeah, and the pink caddy like standing out. I'm like,
Yeah,
all right, man. I got more. I know Till. IO profound. I know. Just let me go a little bit. Let me flex. Are we good, brother Jake? Can we flex a little bit?
Oh, we good, man. I set
right.
the time aside for y'all, man, so I'm great.
Right. Thank you, brother. Love. All right. So when it comes to man, I got like so many in my mind. I don't know if I want to go here yet. Let me go here. I wanted to kind of end with this one, but let me go here right now because you brought up his name a few times, brother KRS-One. Get a little controversial because we have Mickey Fax, Royce the 5'9", and all of that going on, right?
Right.
A lot of war on rumors of war. You, KRS-One, can you bring me to what that was about? Like, yeah, I'm not seeing eye to eye, or because even when I was playing the album today, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I hear a little jab at third base. I hear a couple things. I know all of that's settled now, but can you just explain to me now when the what they call it? Gods in the spirit, titans in the flesh. It's like cats are going at it, gladiator style. Can you explain?
Yeah, but I mean, yo, bro. I mean, look, I never had no problem with Chris even then. I think that people misinterpret lyricism. Like I said, people have an attention span like a one-sided match at times. You know what I'm saying? It's like I put out the lyric, I said, sit back and take heed, brother, you must learn. But the line before that is dealing with what we were talking about, where people are swimming in the book so much that they're forgetting about the true and living aspect. So I used a line that was popular. When you're an MC, you might say a line that somebody else said as a popular term, like sit back and take heed, brother, you must learn. Swimming in the books, and the books ain't given. So they didn't continue the line. You just took you must learn like a pot shot at KRS. So I said, yo, I ain't got no problem with him. So the media and remember now, there's no internet. All right. So transcends something different to the street. Yo, I heard the dude from X-Clan's beefing with KRS. I heard him say something on his lyric. Listen on here. They've always been misinterpreted. My shot was at the bookworms that are not getting out, all right, as well as to the soldiers that are not studying enough, but the line was what it was. So when they made it a big thing, they started doing this thing where they wanted to do this press conference, because remember, there's no drama in conscious music. Everybody's getting along, everybody's peace. So this is the first time controversy is really like, two of the MCs of the city and whatnot. I don't know what they ranked me then or whatever it was. I never cared about that. But, these are two people who command attention from popular groups at the time, possibly being at a war. So now Bambaataa takes it over the top, with the big press conference at the hotel and this, and then, we don't need all of that. We can meet with this as men. If there's a misunderstanding, in my mind, we're a movement, you're a rap group at this time frame. There's no temple of hip hop. There's no, the most that you can connect to is Zulu Nation at that time. So this is not even a conversation of worth to me in my mind. You know what I'm saying? As a young head. And if you look at the pictures at the time, you see my face. And I'm saying, why y'all got me at odds with Chris? I said, I admire Chris. He's the monster that spooks off MCs for getting in the game. I'm really fucking with him. Whereas to a third base, I felt that it was a waste of a slot. We only had certain slots at the time. It's almost like how ball players are. You can have 1 million ball players, but there's only 300 something slots in the game. And I'm saying, as many cats that was nice and Flatbush around my way, why'd you pick third base? Why wasn't there somebody else? I wasn't beefing with them because they were white kids. I was beefing with them because it was better. Look, wasn't MF Doom in there? Why wasn't he rhyming? Ahead, why did they just manage him or something? Because I don't know right now. If you told me sing a third bass song, I couldn't tell, and probably 5 niggas that I know couldn't sing third bass song unless you're singing some gas bass or some stupid shit, and that's goofy shit to me.
Wait, wait, yo, real talk
Just
though.
straight up and down, dog.
I might be clowned right now, but I did just order the re-release of the Cactus album on vinyl. I did. I gotta be truthful. I ain't going for it.
I mean, yo, I was a little rude as a young dude, man. Because again, I'm a pit bull for a movement. I have no care for rap. You know what I'm saying? But as I examined it from then, I'm like, yo, man, come on. We could have found another Rakim to be on some Def Jam rush management situation or something, rather than you trying to, talk with some kids talking about Black Hat is bad day and this and that. Yo, man, shut up, man. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? And not just being 100. I was about people minding the business of their ethnicity and then coming to the table saying, yo, I'm proud of my people. Now you can shake my hand as a proud individual, be Indian, Japan, whatever you come as, go fix your own shit. Stick your nose out of mine. You know what I'm saying? So that was an issue with me with that. There was a lot of shit, around the little third base thing or whatever, because, again, I'm in Latin quarters. I see you with the Black girlfriend in this, and I see you in the experience of the Black energy of this thing or whatever. I'm seeing you in this. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have a judgment of, your music is whack and you shouldn't be in the game. Who am I to say that? I'm not the A&R, I'm not the president. But again, like Chris, I'm saying, yo, the best only. Let's go. Because this platform is powerful. If we get another couple of Chris's, another couple of Chuck D's, another couple of Rakims, dog, shit, the gods will rule. I don't have to back down off that to try to be politically correct for a fucking third base or any other corny ass rappers at that time. I don't have to bow down. Damn. My shit is just to strictly see the gods in the pantheon, and cats are saying, yo, hip hop is deep. Don't try to blend that R&B shit up in there. There's another creative way of doing that. We could have had singers from any other ethnicity. We could have had reggae singers instead of reggae singers. We could have had blended with roots reggae. Yeah. Why do we have to blend
African singers? You know what I'm saying? From the land.
Come on, bro. We could have had anything, but y'all chose to say, all you niggas in one box. Wow. Y'all R&B singers and rap, y'all all go in one box. So what started happening? You start seeing Ron Isley in the same category as Lil' Kim. You start seeing Prince in the same category as Usher or one of these little young joint rappers or something like that. You know what I'm saying? The categories start getting mixed up when you throw everything in one box. We saw that from way back then, bro.
Yeah.
So, Brother Jay, for an upcoming MC, well, damn, I don't even want to do that yet. 2 more. Somebody, I think you are highly decorated, but also highly underrated as far as the mainstream is concerned. When people talk about Mount Rushmores, et cetera, et cetera. And I know you don't care about that, but I did see somebody that did give you flowers. Rest in power and rest in peace. Another Brooklyn MC. And that's Sean Price. He was asked one time who was top 5 or, and he put you in. He said, yo, Brother Jay. And they were like, who, you mean Jay-Z? And he was like, nah, Brother Jay from X Clan. They said, who your top 5 MCs from Brooklyn? And he named you. I don't know where you fit, if it was 2 or 3 or what, but he put you there. And then he even like kind of downplayed himself. He was like, I consider him an ill MC for what, he talks about. And he said, he's like, I don't talk about nothing, man. What am I dealing with? You know what I'm saying? He says, but that dude, Brother Jay, come on. Ain't nobody touching him. So just out of that, I thought that was highly respected. And that was years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Rest in peace, Sean Price, but Brooklyn gonna represent us, ourselves every time.
Yeah. Yes. He put you in there with the J.
I fought for Brooklyn. We mean something different to Brooklyn natives, my lord. We fought for Brooklyn. It wasn't about no rap shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You see us out there front line standing no matter who was in front of us. If it was racist or police or whatever it was, you killed one of ours and something has to change. And we stood with the elders of our community doing that. So we mean something different to Brooklyn individuals. You know what I'm saying? More so
Crown Heights, all in the world. Yeah. He put you with Biggie, Jay, Big Daddy Kane, you know what I'm saying? He put you in that whole realm. He's like, yo, brother Jay, for sure. And when I heard that, I was like, wow, that's dope.
I love Duck Down. Those my nephews off of Franklin Ave, bro. I mean, that
Yes,
whole,
indeed. I could see that. I could see that.
yeah,
Especially like in
those-
Steel and Tech. I could see you in them, man.
yeah,
I swear to God.
Buckshot and Shaft was close, God. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I used to go get my little sacks off of Franklin and shit and go up to Shaft's crib, sit on the fire escape and burn an L, man. And, you know, he used to tell me, yo, you know, the Dug Down family's right up the way, Buckshot, so on and so on. We was all coming up together, man. These are, come on, bro. I'm real Brooklyn. I'm real Brooklyn, like, you know, going to play ball and going, you know, moving around my streets. You know what I'm saying? You know, on my fixed bike and all kind of shit, my nigga. I'm that.
This is my last question. I promise. I'm always my last question for MCs coming up, future MCs. What are 3 to 5 books that you would recommend them to read? Because you are a reader. We have teachers in here and people with education backgrounds. What books would you advise MCs to read, or young brothers, or anybody, everybody? You said about development and everything. They should be nibbling on right now, studying.
I would tell them to play Scrabble or read a dictionary or something, bro, because the level of vocabulary nowadays is ridiculous, man. It's like I can line 10 songs right now that they're saying the exact same thing over just a different beat. So I'm like, read the dictionary, get a thesaurus, you know, and learn that there's other options of words and shit, you know, to say on this music, man. You know, than what they just been chosen. You gotta stop, you know, it gets insulting to the audience at a time frame that you can just keep giving slop to people and they keep accepting it. That's like a slave mentality. You know what I'm saying? You know, slaves were thrown the guts of animals. y'all are giving the slop of slang, you know, made up crazy shit that has no purpose and shit, and giving it to people and saying, well, that's what they understand. They all just drunk and high and just want to fucking twerk and shit. You kind of disrespect the audience on that level. So I would say, seriously, read the dictionary, play games with words, because it's already a gutter language up against other languages in the world. We can't even interpret certain levels of feeling and emotion through English, bro. You think about it. You know what I'm saying? When people come here from France and Spain and they try to learn English and shit, there's words they can't even interpret in our language because it's just no, it's such a cold, dark text of nothing. So if we're gonna take it, know it first, and then alter it to where it makes it, you know, it gets in the algorithm of connection for people and whatnot. Just don't throw the slops. So I would really tell them to study words first, because if you can't read, I can't tell you to go get the Metuneta and the this and that or whatever. If you can't read, basically, I can't refer any intelligent material to you. And you'd be surprised how many people cannot read or write, bro, especially in this era. There are text babies right now that don't have good handwriting. Good handwriting was a thing at a time frame.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
That's real shit right now.
That's
people can't even write on paper. They get tired and be like, I'm just gonna type it in my phone.
Yeah.
I still write lyrics on paper. Dog, paper right here.
That's for sure.
My notebooks are full, bro. I don't touch my computer until it's final. Till it's final shit. But otherwise, it's notes and notes and notes, because the writing is part of the muscle
process. Memory. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So there's things missing in that. So I would tell them, learn how to read and write again. All right, cats are going to school right now to smoke weed behind the wall and just wait for the bell to ring to get out, and waiting for the years to pass to get a piece of paper that says nothing, that gives you no power. You could be an idiot graduating out of high school and still don't know how to read or write, but you know how to work a computer or a 3D printer or write half-ass code. But you don't even know how to read or write.
And this is a generation that does not read.
That's happening more than ever right. They do not read, brother. They skim, because they doing it on the you hitting your thumb on the phone. You just skimming.
Yeah. So you read, brother Jay.
You read the headline.
Yeah.
So wait, brother Jay. All right, I gotta challenge you. You gave him 2 books, which is awesome. The
Okay.
dictionary and the thesaurus. But we gotta, for those that do read, can we give them 3 that do read? What should they hold on to? Let's give them something.
But just to
I would
piggyback off what
I would like to suggest books, bro, because you know that's kind of overly suggestive, man. You know, that's like I mean, seriously though, you know what I'm saying? If I told somebody to read some material right now, they may go and I might be accelerating their journey in a place. You know what I'm saying? I like to tell them to do basic things.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The 5% knowledge was a basic thing. It's not a religion. It's a thought system that's like any other religion. So it was made so you can associate letters to terminologies of divinity.
Yeah.
All right. So that used to be a good stepping stool to learn for a man to be building with his woman and his child. They have code in their house. Like, what's the day and what's the purpose of the day? That's the math of the day.
Absolutely.
So, you know, so basic things like that, instead of telling somebody, go read the Torah, go learn about the tree of life, go learn about sex in the Kabbalah. You know, I don't want to tell you shit like that. And you go in there and misinterpret some shit, not being educated or not being in the lane of learning the things that you have to do before you get there. And you saying, well, Brother Jay, you know, he had a good conversation. He told me to go read this shit. I'm going to go read it from top to bottom. You get absolutely nothing from it because there's stages to go through.
Absolutely.
There's stages to go through. I would tell a person, find an elder first, someone that you can trust.
Come on, Brother Jay.
Somebody that's not going to play you, and they'll have a gang of shit on their shelf to say, oh, you like that? Which one you gravitate toward? Well, I like this one, Civilization Against whatever the fuck, and you picking the book off the shelf. Bring my book back and bring me a report on it, and let's have a conversation. I'd rather you do that than me tell you a book or something to read.
That's so interesting that you said that, because I'm in this Black Arts Movement seminar. This is the last week. Tomorrow's the last day, and that's what they said. All the people that's been leading the seminars have been elders that was a part of the Black Arts Movement in Chicago. And basically what they said is there needs to be a connection between young people and elders. I swear to you, they said that today. Wow. That's crazy.
Bro,
that's crazy.
Real shit, I associate with programs like that, bro. I work with the Digital Elder Program with Dr. Shani Bayard, and she was having elders who didn't know how to use a computer connect with young heads that all they knew were computers, and then having a hour situation with them to show them different things, and then the elder to tell them, like, before this computer was going on, this is how we used to communicate. Conversations were phenomenal. As a class, I thought that was outstanding. I would advise MCs to do things like that. You know, go get in the lab with the elder in the game. You know what I'm saying? And get the approval. If you come out of that lab and the dude says, yo, man, stamp of approval, man, you know, success to you, that's a different little feather in your hat than self-proclaiming yourself and just waving at the elder from the limo saying, yo, I took that deal you didn't do, nigga, I'll see you later. You took time to come back in the hood and say, yo, man, you were the favorite of our camp. What were the mistakes? What were the pros and the cons? And then you tell you, well, watch out for this. Don't perform over here. Don't talk about this. Don't wear red on this side of town. You know, whatever it is. All those things ain't gonna be in the book, bro. You know, half the things that we mad about are not in the manual to say, don't do this. Don't rap on this. Don't give the radio, you know, this amount of attention. Don't spend money here. Don't get, you know, these things are not written in a book. You know what I'm saying? So we weren't the administration that was taking these new jacks in, then we're leaving them to the devils that fucked our shit up.
Absolutely. Wow.
Okay. So we got to go back and say, yo, man, when did this thing turn left? And who were the administration that was responsible for letting this foolishness in? Now that it's a multi-billion-dollar business, you're not going to say, stop that. But you got to realize, before we go further, how can some of that trickle down into what we need? If we need centers to train these kids in the elements, how do those monies trickle down into what's happening and we have to form that strategy.
Absolutely.
That's what we have to do. Several other platforms like y'all have to come together in the think tank where we're not arguing over it. We're saying, yo, I got 10 racks. I got another 5. I got another 5. What are we doing here? We're gonna buy the center and make it the center of the arts for hip hop, and we're gonna rotate nights.
Dope.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do different things. Now all the cats come to us to get trained. Now there's not gonna be any bum riders.
Right.
Now there's not gonna be anybody have to take their clothes off, or somebody going through some pedophilia with the hip hop artists and all this other thing, because we got an eye on our youth and we got an eye on our own.
Yeah.
The movement saved us from that.
Yeah.
I don't care what all these people be fabricating all these stories. Ain't none of that foolishness going down inside the movement, my lord.
Right.
Bottom line, you have people cut your hands off, approaching the sisters fucked up.
Yeah.
Or older sisters taking advantage of the younger brothers. Because remember, these are young buck soldiers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if there's no qualified men in the world, you can have older sisters taking advantage of young men. All right. But when the circle is agreeable, powerful energy, none of that is acceptable, my lord.
Exactly.
And you got a clean way to get to your goal without the foolishness. We have to secure ourselves and our own minds in this game that we play, bro. Because again, hip hop is an ego-based game.
Yeah.
Okay. You're building on what's inside your head.
You're right.
Okay. What's happening on in your shit. So it's partially like, yo, we express from the ego side that I'm fresh, I'm polished. You're not coming out like I'm a dirty nigga, I'm stink. The girls don't like me. You're not rhyming like that. You rhyming it yourself at the optimum. It's like 2 Supermans on the chest in the back.
You know what I'm saying?
You all that. Okay? So you gotta remember, when you tickle the ego that far, bug shit can happen, bro, beyond your capacity of understanding. When 2,000 people are obeying your commands as the master of ceremony, your head can be beyond balloon level, bro.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So you got to have that discipline. That elder that we're speaking about keeps that discipline. Like, yo, man, get over yourself, man. Be at the place tomorrow for training, man. Get over yourself. You're still a foot soldier, nigga. And that counts. That counts. That's what we had thoroughly throughout our system. I'm so grateful to my elders here and gone.
Well, speaking of that, this is something we wanted to ask you for some advice here before we jump into this one word. We got these books we got the magazine, this platform here, the Boom Bap Chat. We are a source where we try to, advance the music that we like, that we love. And, attention spans are low. This isn't like a doctorate, like this is a very easy read, it's very easy. But the idea is just to get the music out there and to help people engage with the music a little bit more. And so in this day and age, do you have any advice for us on, what moves we can make and take to help, get the word out about what we're doing?
I feel that something like that should be mandatory in school curriculum.
Come on.
All right. If you've made Tupacology a class and Tupac didn't even reach his peak. All right. So if y'all are dedicated toward the upliftment of minds and your material, and you're really referring them to artists, remember now, you got to screen the artists that you're telling people to listen to make sure
brother Jay,
that they match what you're talking about. Okay. If I go mention an artist and then he got an album, 2 or 3 songs that's cool, and then the rest you cursing everybody the fuck out, you're not a good reference to make an example of. All right, so you got to really screen that and say, look, I got a source right now that I can feed from 8-year-old to 15-year-old to teach them about this music that they love and how not to get caught up trying to be like one of them. Okay, so if your material is that, where you can educate them and not influence them to go follow a half-ass artist,
right?
Then you have the right to teach that in a class situation. If you were the Zoom chat twice a week in school situation, you should have contract sponsors, different people behind you to make sure that you have that presence to say, yo, man, this is this is a great curriculum. This is a great information source. I think that students should have that, even if you just start in your town or your towns and your areas, to say, let's start with one school. You know what I'm saying? Just having like, let's entertain the after school program and add something positive that's going to be whatever. So whoever's not in detention that wants to come to a positive after school program, I'm not going to step on the regular toes of the daily curriculum.
Right.
I'm going to have a start with an after school program. Bro, I know so many successful hip hop after school programs in this country right now that are funded. Okay? Because if you're not going to go for the government grants and things of that level, then yo, man, find the community, the local cleaners, the local whatever. Because if you keeping kids off the street, you're doing them a favor.
Right.
Because they're not bothering these companies and stealing apples and robbing these cats and, you know, taking money counter and shit. You got them at the center. So that's the community effort. Like, yo, I got a place for these kids to be at, that safe environment with no bullshit, where they're learning something deep. Hey, man, give me some of that so I can get electric vehicles to get them home so they don't even touch the street.
Right.
You can run a list of shit and just run it from a small thing. See, when people think too big, they lose these kind of ideas. But if you start small and show the effect, and now you got 3 different hubs with 10 kids apiece, you're part of the solution now.
Yeah, yeah.
And you control press. So now you can report on the advancement, the pros and cons of that. Like, yo, man, we've only had 1 kid trip out in class and, you know, whatever case may be, but 7 out of 2 right now are going in the lab right now, spitting positive lyrics. They sounding like the shit that we want to hear, the type of effort that we are. You seeing results. You have media control to report to people now.
Exactly.
You feel me? Keep it simple. Keep it easy, and stay in the agreeable energy is my only advice with those things, good brother.
Right on. Go ahead, Io.
Yeah, and I was just saying, like, based off what you said, Brother J, man, I just want to say shout out to Pastor Phil Jackson. He bought a firehouse and turned it into a community center on the west side of Chicago. They do breaking. They teach kids how to like code. They got a culinary spot, and they want to build a studio in the basement. And he bought out a fire. And shout out to my man Quan that started Lyricist Society in Detroit. With an after school program, and he teaching them the history of hip hop. And they like, I actually did a song with them kids. Like, I'll send it to you so you can see it. Like, I'm in Toronto now. We shot half of it in Detroit, and then they came to Toronto and shot the other half in Toronto. So they was able to see, you know what I'm saying? See that they music can take them places. You know what I mean? Correct. So, man, that's powerful. Everything that you said is on point. That's what I want to do. Everything that you just said, that's what I want to do.
Collabo with these people, bro. There's no way opening up a studio like that, and your curriculum is not the central force in that lab.
Yes. You feel
me? Y'all are the A&Rs of what's coming out of there. So if anybody coming there trying to get some fucking, you know, lean trap song and shit, and all this other shit, nah, man, we're not doing that here. Wow. We're here to heighten the intelligence. You're gonna have to put a little bit more vocab. You don't have to diss them. It's just that comes better. Because when I want to sit you in front of 10, 14-year-olds to perform, I don't want you hollering about that bullshit. I want to give you an opportunity, and you got to clean your shit up. And if you don't want to get it, then get on out of here and go find your way, bro. Again, we have to deal with the willing. We can't wait till somebody says, well, let me think about it. What are you thinking about? To be positive or not? In a stage of what we are right now, chemical warfare, foolishness, brink of war, whatever you want to list it as, dog, is absolutely no time for goofiness and foolishness right now. Man.
Absolutely
not, bro. You shouldn't have to convince nobody with that. That's just common sense and right reasoning, man.
Nina Simone said it best, man. Music should reflect the time. This music is not reflecting the times, bro.
Nah, bro.
It's not reflecting the times, my man.
Not at all, man. And we should be embarrassed at this stage, man. You know, look at who they crown the heads of our generation in music. Look who's receiving these accolades. And why are they giving accolades in our name without our permission, without our stamp?
Exactly.
Who says this? Because you got bread? We're the consumer. If I choke you, out to a boycott or whatever the case may be, you're gonna say, yo, man, what do y'all think now?
Right.
All right. The opposite of cancel culture. We're gonna make our own heroes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not gonna follow y'all. We're not gonna wait till people blow up and then say something fuck up and try to cancel them. No, before you come in, you're gonna be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then you're gonna have all the support in the world. Y'all are gonna be some of the most successful artists in the world once you get the people stamp.
Yeah.
When it gets to that level, then we'll be on some other shit.
And it's not success on the industry level, like what the industry claim as success. It's what we deem as success. You know what I mean?
Which is a consistency of feeding us positive and inspiring content.
Yes. Yes.
Period. Consistency. Okay? That's all we seek. Don't be, we are the world, self-destruction, all this, and then the next day you Uchi Wally, this, that, what, but I'm not dissing Nas at all. But I'm just it don't match at one time in the game. You gotta stop straddling the fence on certain shit. You don't have to give a fuck about music politics when you get to a certain level of success, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
If I got a couple million in my bank, bro, ain't nobody telling me how to write.
Absolutely.
All right. You're not telling me that I gotta go do a song with some young kid in a Western hat who can just flip up at any time. You're not telling me none of that shit. I'm already a hero enough. Look, man, the shit I like about D-Block, bro, when they left Puppy, they went mixtape and was successful.
Absolutely.
I didn't need the Dipset battle to say, yo, Jada and the homies are nice. I was on it with Styles P. What was on my list today when y'all sent me? I said
Styles P, yeah.
Yeah. Should have been a super group from way back.
Yeah.
Because Pharaoh wanted to sing.
Yeah.
Okay. And Cass was like, yo, I don't know, man. You know, why don't you just hit me with them
Pharaoh could sing, boy.
Cosmical raps and shit, nigga. And he's like, yo, nigga, you got other elements. I'm evolving into something else. Yeah. And he showed it and it was dope. And y'all didn't even rock with this. So them dudes had underground success that I admired. I fuck with 50 Cent because he ran the streets mixtape wise. He wasn't waiting.
Right.
I had to find this dude. He's like, yo, I make money off these little 10. Now, come on, when everybody's buying bootleg, you had to be the king. If you knew them African dudes and you copied your own shit, bro, you could get paid in this motherfucker, bro. Okay? So that kind of self-sufficiency is what we got to bring. We ain't got to teach kids to sell it out the trunk, but you got to learn how to go back to the raw essence of it.
Yeah.
All right? And get your core audience. If your core audience is 15 people, then love them and give them consistency.
Run with them, absolutely.
And rock, and then let that consistency grow. I look at living legends, all kind of cats out here that don't have even a mention in the game. Some of the most successful cats in hip hop.
Yeah.
Cairo has a festival every year here, bigger than Rock and Bells.
Wow.
Every year. Wow. Okay. And these cats don't even get mentioned for doing entrepreneurial things and whatnot, bro. I mean, I'm blown away at what we admire. But you're gonna be on the first smoking train when Kodak gets out of jail, and you don't even know why. This nigga's looking like, I don't know why I'm out, but I'm out, and let's go. we got political prisoners and all kind of shit. I'm not dissing these people, but I'm saying, yo, man, if you did something stupid, man,
right, you gotta go sit down.
Yeah, man, take a time out and sit down. Don't have nobody pull you out and say, yo, man, you know you're gonna have to pay for that pass in some kind of way. It's coming around, bro. It's coming around. Let's get to them before they get to the path of that influence. Wow. And what y'all are doing can be that, in my opinion, to continue what you're saying to do with your books. Just make sure you analyze these artists, because a lot of artists I wanted to deal with, when I dug in their catalog, I was disappointed and I left alone. I'm like, yo, man, this is like you just searching for a way to be heard better. This is not your lifestyle being positive. Right. You just a good dude who's trying to say, you know, how can I make money? I'm poetic. You're supposed to be advancing your lifestyle and say, yo, nigga, I live like this. You know, check this out. This is how I wake up in my day. This is the kind of peace I have in my home. I don't have a ratchet woman in my house yelling at me and living a stereotype of what you feel sisters are or whatever. You know, show that. I'd rather you walk me through a peaceful house on TV than an empty house with a bunch of materials.
Right.
Totally.
For sure.
I feel that.
For sure.
we got to get on that point, my Lord. I feel we can remix a lot of shit that was done in a mistake. We should have seen that 20 years ago when the new millennium came in, when everybody was scared that the world was ending this shit. We should have been looking at remixing all the whack shit.
Yeah.
and it looked real deal. And we missed that trade because everybody was like, any day now it's going to explode. You know, something's going to happen and shit. We so busy following the media, they reinvented their whole shit.
And here we are again at the precipice.
We are again.
Really though, here we are again.
This is, man.
Well, yo,
I wish we could bring him back, man, for part 2. This ain't enough, man. We gotta stay in tune, man. You my elder, bro. So hey, I'm making it. I'm making it public. I'm asking you, please, I want you to be my elder, bro, for real. Cause man, Joe, boy, you dropping jewels tonight. I ain't gonna be able to sleep tonight, man. Good night.
Gonna write an album. When he got some new material, maybe he'll bless us again. Maybe he'll come back when he gets some material.
I got a gang of new stuff for y'all. We was in the lab last night, Matt, Sir Jinx and I. We just picking out new tracks, and I'm really excited to introduce this side of myself, man. You know, it's gonna be definitely a sonic movement coming for what me and Jinx are planning.
Oh wow.
Right? You know, and to have an artist that was stereotyped just like a gangster artist or gangster producer.
Right.
I know my brother to be as good as whatever you give Quincy Jones, whatever you give, you know, whatever Teddy Riley's or whatever. So, you know, I'm really glad to show different sides of us because, you know, I'm not on no pop shit, no dumb shit. So, you know, all you can see is that advanced boom bap that we spoke about earlier. They're going to see that special form, my Lord. I trust
he's underrated, man. Underrated and
Sir Jinx
definitely is. Highly decorated, but underrated and unsung
Absolutely.
to me.
I don't think you're underrated, my Lord, because if cats are deaf, dumb, and blind, it is what it is. That's not on.
But you know, when people just roll off the tongue, and I'm not knocking nobody when they go the Primos, the Pete Rocks, and self-included, but you don't hear his name come up enough as an architect. You know what I'm saying? Like,
correct. I mean, people are slave to the media and what the media has chosen. You know, I'm an acquired taste, and I can accept myself.
I like that.
I'm not for everyone. I'm not for everyone.
I like that.
So wait, there might be a Dr. Dre joint coming soon too.
I like that.
Hey man, you know, I know Dre will hear the project because Jinx and him are family. You know, I'm focused on Jinx. Dre has already made his.
You want a detox album? You coming on the next detox album?
I'm detoxing the one-man army sense, my Lord.
Boom.
No doubt. One last thing. This is it for me, Till. This is it. Last thing. Are you teaching? Do you find like because you need to be in a university? Like, I know you teaching at a concrete level, but like, are you like, is there any opportunities for you to like teach and stuff like that?
I do these interviews. I'm really an in-house dude. I build.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I do install energies and different instructors. That pass on. I think that's my calling. I'm not the dude to be like, okay, today's situation is this. And I had to accept that because you know, when the Tupacology came up, I was like, man, there's like 50 different casts that you can be. You could have did Black Thought.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and not to diss that his poetry was not on board. It's just that, again, the consistency. You were distracted by trying to be a gangster at a time frame, and that kind of, you know, wobbled the boat a little bit. I would like to be with somebody that consistently builds on that, and you basing a class around them and excluding. You could have did that with Chuck D. You could have did that with several other artists that I can name. So I thought that the people that were doing the school projects and teaching, offering those courses to teach hip hop, they were one-sided. They were trying to find like, let's get somebody popular because we'll get money and, you know, whatever it is. You know, so that wasn't my lane. My lane was to continue to prepare artists and to prepare teachers that go out and build on that. You know, we have these kinds of conversations. We're sharing it out in the public. So, you know, I give a little bit in these interviews and stuff. You know, when we get ready to drop projects, you know, you got to run through the press and all of that kind of stuff. But I wanted to build with people that I really want to fuck with and have longevity with. We're going to be doing things together. We will be riling people up and saying, yo, man, this is a move that we can do sonically that will help artists. And let's sit down and build as men on how that will work. I'm not going to be like, yo, brothers, I know y'all with me. You know, I'm going to be like, let's sit down and reason as men and let's show this where it works for your platform, where it works for your audience. And let's move as a people instead of people just saying, well, everybody's moving this way. Let's go.
Yeah.
Keep thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I can't
like special ed call them sheeple. He call them sheeple.
Right.
Yeah, we're not doing no Kool-Aid walks here, man. This is 8 men in their own mind and self-power. That's what we promote. So it's nothing for me to really teach. It's just really for me to make an example of where we can go with this power of hip hop that we have, you know? Real shit.
Yeah, right on, right on. Well, we started the night saying that this is a celebratory night. And we're going to end it on such. We're going to do a little something called One Word. My man Neville has a question in the form of a little sonic journey here. Neville, you ready with that? I'm not Neville. Sorry, Profound. You ready with that?
I was like, wait, what?
Okay, party people in the house.
Let's get ready to rumble!
In this portion of the show, we'll show an assortment of hip-hop albums and challenge our guests to describe them in one word or less. Do you accept the challenge?
He accepts the challenge. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. One word reaction. First album here is done by the Forces of Nature by the Jungle Brothers.
Evolving.
Yes. Great word.
Yes.
Inner City Griots by Freestyle Fellowship.
Groundbreaking.
I like that.
All right. That was groundbreaking for lyricism in California.
Yeah.
And so everybody didn't sound like Eazy-E. Everybody didn't sound like whatever. That was a groundbreaking to show that there's another generation of artistry in the hoods of LA.
Yeah.
Yes,
No doubt. All right, this is a lesser known album, but super dope. The Ghetto's Been Good to Me by YZ.
Oh shit, the holy one. Let's see. I say Bridge Maker as one word.
Bridge Maker. Why Bridge Maker?
Because YZ was an executive and an artist. He was a player coach.
And what was? Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying that he bridged the gap of where artists limited themselves to just being rappers or whatever, to show that, yo, man, you can be a player coach early in the game, putting out your own materials or either signing some of the artists that you feel needed to be signed with. So, needed to be signed to a good situation. So he was the first example. He signed Wise Intelligent, Most Def.
Oh, wow.
Early stages. Who else was down there? I forgot that brother's name. But anyway, he was one of the player coaches back then. You know, that's why he was qualified to run with us in the Black Watch, bro. He was ahead of his time.
Yeah, dope. All right, the Imperial Flip Mode Squad.
Excellent.
Excellent. Nice.
You know why? Because it was combining, Brooklyn and Long Island hood as Busta Rhymes, went between both. But this was his Brooklyn effort. So the kind of sound that he had, I think DJ Scratch was doing tracks with them at that time.
Yep.
Yeah. So us seeing Scratch do tracks, and then Busta give us his Brooklyn side, because it was a different energy than Leaders of the New School.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Busta is the kind of dude that if they did a versus, I feel he could battle KRS-One.
Ooh.
He has enough catalog and lyricism to battle KRS-One.
Yeah, that's a good one. That would be a good
stage
one.
presence too. Stage presence.
Yeah.
Energy.
Really looking for somebody to bully. He should gotta go up in Busta's rank, because he'll go to bully LL and all of them cats, but you're not gonna bully Busta Rhyme like that.
No.
He had a direction to be the most destructive force in hip hop, and he's become that, and the fun of it as well. I enjoy that. So excellent on Flip Mode.
All right, I'm curious to know what you think about this one. This is Anarchy by Busta Rhymes.
Again, all Busta Rhymes, even in his experiments, production solid. Lyrically, he's all over the place sometimes, but you know, he has a focus on what it is to make good music. So yes, again, another one excellent. I will have him share that. All of that Flip Mo Buster is excellent to me.
All right, we got two more here. Two more. Right here. Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Oh man. Refreshing.
Ooh, refreshing. Yes.
Yes,
no doubt.
Refreshing. She didn't, you know, as someone who's exempling their independent nature after heavy success. You know, Lauren could have been the next Marley, Marley, basically. You know what I'm saying? She could have been that, you know, Bob Marley if they had let her be. She got up there with that guitar, son. If they accepted what she was kicking, she would have been a female Bob Marley right now.
I was always getting dissed when I said that Unplugged album was off the chain, bro.
Off the chain. She would have been female Bob Marley if they got off that pop shit with her spirit gun. That would have been great healing for her.
Yeah.
How dare they boo her on any level or talk about her negative or no sense, you know, bringing her personal life into the game. She's done nothing but presenting refreshing material as a hip hop artist, man. You know, I salute to her.
For real.
Right on. All right, one more until the last one. This is De La Soul is Dead.
Oh, sad. The masters themselves.
Yes.
Creative.
Yeah.
Always.
All right. So that was 91, I believe. And I think it was the next year, 92. This classic, y'all hit us with this classic, X-Clan, Exodus.
Yeah. Oh man, that let's get a word for that. Man Glorious.
There you go. Yes. Is there another word that would be more fitting? I don't think so. Such a dope album.
Homage would be the words that I would use for that. Giving homage to my elders and the various thought systems that we practice as African people. So I want to give homage to all of them. So homage is the word for that project.
Right on.
Yes.
I want to ask one thing. Out of those two, Brother Jay, is there a favorite? Out of your first two?
And Exodus?
Yeah. Is there a favorite for you?
Nah. I mean, I didn't like Exodus the time I had to work on it. And I wish we had more time in the lab together. We were living at our star stage at that time. We were like the Doors. So, you know, when the Doors used to make their music together all in the one spot, it was super bomb. But now Jim Morrison's in Spain and the drummers are kids and shit like that. So Exodus was that second phase of the Doors and shit where we weren't all in the lab together. So that was kind of extra, a little bit more freestyling on my part on that album than I would have wanted to, because now I'm rushing. And a lot of things are happening at that time as far as on the streets, a lot of racism, a lot of BS and stuff. And we were almost like damn near police in our neighborhoods for different things that were happening. So we never lived that star shit too long, but those things affected the production of that album. And I was just picking breaks like, oh, let me get the Stevie Wonder, mix it with this. Let me write something right quick. Let me go in the back for an hour and come up with whatever. That's not how you do a record deal. And that's not how you do an album of that kind of cover. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm giving y'all the director's cut. You will see how you see how original ADAM was. ADAM, the original joint that I did was different from the Mr. Magic that y'all heard on that project. So I'm taking it back to the essence of where when I wrote those songs with a higher production value now, and with the comrades that I have that have done platinum shit all their life.
Right.
That album is going to be something different, man.
Oh,
that's my gift to the people, you know?
There was a question I forgot earlier. Now I got it with this. Okay. Why does X-Clan, technically I know this is the wrong way to ask it, but why, and you'll see why. Why does X-Clan, as we know them originally, why does it stop after that album, so to speak?
Because the movement became, groupie, bro. You know, it became more people coming for music than coming for what we've been building on. Okay. So I felt that it was too much. And I created the X Clan. That's the Crossroad Clique. X Clan has nothing to do with Professor X, or we named him Professor X. So, I just bowed out gracefully, like, yo, I'm taking this group and I'm putting it on the shelf until we get wiser with what's happening. You know what I'm saying? We had to come off of when you're out there, you drinking alcohol every night in the clubs, you're in nightclubs, you're basically on night shift with vampires, but on the good side. You know what I'm saying? You coming out at the wee hours of the night and entertaining people, no matter for what it is, good or bad. And that type of thing doesn't blend with getting up in the morning, 6 in the morning, and training. And
right.
You home at 3 o'clock in the morning from rocking whatever the stadium, the arena, whatever it is. Come on, man, ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I think that's why the group had to break up and take a break. I wanted to take a break. Even Dark Sun Riders project after that, it wasn't supposed to be Dark Sun Riders. It was going to be continued X Clan. But I still felt that the original Horsemen weren't ready to present themselves, and we lost Shaft at that time frame, right after I signed that deal. So, so a lot of things were breaking up, and I felt that the movement had got too far, with just recruiting anything. We're not an orphanage. You know what I'm saying? We're a movement, Black nationalist movement. And if you're going to take away the screen that filters us from, keeping us sucker free, then I'm not down with this anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what it was, respectfully, just to bow out. And unfortunately, by the time, everybody realized what that was, PX had passed, Shaft had passed, you know what I'm saying? So I recreated or extended the group, and then I brought in new members and new teachers into there. And that's when you started seeing X Clan Millennium Cypher and the albums that we did, Return from Mecca, Mainstream Outlaws, and the Underground Scrolls mixtapes that I was throwing out. We've had a whole other career.
Yeah.
expanding from X Clan, the touring and everything. I think I did more touring in the new millennium than back in the 90s. So yeah, that's why the group had to break. My Lord, we had to cool out a little bit. Again, the game makes your head like this, and you don't even realize that it's growing. You think it's just regular weight. You know what I'm saying? You got to take a break and detox. Dark Sun was my detox. Away from the herbs, away from, from smoking, away from the bullshit. I was very much in touch with Dr. Sabi at that time, just cleansing internally, and then dealing with my elders to build spiritually, to rebuild myself. And that's why I wanted to offer a different side of me. I had already graduated from the houses of the clan. So, it was my time to lead something different.
Yeah.
Outside of the movement that I joined. So I wanted to build this sonic movement. I've been doing this for years. I've collected many generals, many goddesses and stuff in our circles, man, that feel the way that we do on this platform right now.
Right.
Real
yeah.
deal.
Well, I know I speak for everyone here. We're glad that you are still doing your thing, making music. We are very excited for what you have coming up, and to know that you're working with Sir Jinx. Oh man, I cannot wait for that music.
That project is going to be awesome, brother. I'll definitely come back when I get some of the stuff mastered, and I'll give y'all first exposure on that.
Thank you. Yeah, you are welcome anytime. The last thing we do on a hip hop show, of course, is give shout outs. So I'll let the guys do their shout outs. I'll throw a few, and then I will turn it over to you, Brother Jay, for the final shout outs. All right. Is that cool?
Yes, sir.
All right. Cool. Profound, let's swing it to you. Who you shout out tonight?
My children, as usual: Amir, Zakir, Rosalina, Ariel, Daima, Elijah. I'll be home out there on Saturday, so Oh yeah, young Elijah starting quarterback too, man. So my 10-year-old, he's on the way. So I'm giving props, and we're gonna shout out to Neville too, man, for his birthday. Shout out to the Boom Bap Chat, my brothers, and Brother Jay. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for your contribution, man, and continued success. And I look forward to working part of your movement as well, because I know we're gonna continue building.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
For sure.
Honor.
No doubt. Iomos, who you shouting out tonight?
That's an honor, man.
You still with us, Io? We're having a little technical difficulties with Iomos. We'll send it over to Neville. Yeah, he's frozen. We'll send it over to Neville. Neville, who are you shouting out tonight, buddy?
Man, all right. I just want to shout out first and foremost our Boom Bap brothers. Secondly, brother Jay. Yes, it is my birthday. Third shout out to hip hop yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Turned 48 years old. According to the Senate. I don't know why the Senate has to do it, but the Senate made it the birthday. So August 11, 1973. Am I right? 73. And last but not least, and Brother Jay, I said right already, X-Clan, rest in power to Professor X, rest in power to Sugar Shaft. You did great music, man, and I'm just really blessed to be in your presence right now, man. Thank you. This is a special night, special moment, among more to come. And last but not least, I do want to give a shout out to Susanna for helping to put this together. I'm not going to give her last name. I'm going to say Susanna V. She don't like her middle name. And I'm going to say Susanna V. The V stands for Van Glorious. And this is protected by the red, the black, and the green.
Thank you, Neville. Io, you with us now?
Yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
I had to change locations. The Wi-Fi was tripping. So
You're good, man. Who you want to shout out tonight, man?
Man, my mind is all over the place. I'm gonna try to be focused. Brother Jay, you put so much on my mind. I really appreciate it in a good way. My mind is all over the place racing, but I definitely want to shout out my elders, like all the elders who because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today. So all my ancestors and my elders, my beautiful wife, my family back home in Chicago, my people in Detroit, and my Boom Bap Chat brothers. Much respect. And man, Brother Jay, man, I'm speechless, man. You are an amazing brother.
Thank you, brother.
I always looked up to you. I wrote a piece today for a brother, and you, X-Clan is in that. Y'all are like very instrumental in my development as a black man. Cause it was a time when I was in Chicago, I didn't know who I was. And listening to your music and Public Enemy and KRS-One, y'all helped shape me and form me into the man that I was and the man I wanted to be as a black man. So man, I have nothing but the utmost respect and love for you. And like what Pro said, we definitely go, like you said, we're gonna be working in the future for sure. Cause I definitely want to be a part of the movement, cause it's all about the movement. It's bigger than hip hop. It's bigger than hip hop, man.
Right, brother.
Yeah.
It's bigger than enough. It's about it's real force, man.
Yes, sir. So man, much respect and love. And keep doing what you're doing, bro. Salute. You big bro for real.
Thank you, dog.
Thank you, Io. Just want to give a piggyback off Neville. Shout out to Susanna. Appreciate you for making tonight happen. Neville, Profound, Iomos, of course. Michael Stover, Beau Brown, Joe November. All your help in everything we do. Everyone who's tuning in. Like Mark McCauley's out there. I see you, my man. Samsung Zulu, Vibe One. Everyone tuning in tonight. Thanks so much for checking it out. Everyone that downloaded the magazine, boombapmag.com. Appreciate you all checking that out. And next week, we'll be back next Thursday, same time, 10 p.m. Eastern. We are working out some scheduling conflicts. So we'll either have Kid Abstract, super dope jazzy boom bap artist out of California, or High Society, my man Has and Eric, and they'll come on. We'll talk about Nas and King's Disease 2 and talk about that album. So you don't know what we're gonna get just yet. So we'll do one of those two things next Thursday. So just tune in. We'll get the flyers out and all the promotion and stuff like that. So just tune back in. And finally, of course, Brother Jay, thank you so much for giving us so much of your time, sharing your story, sharing yourself with us tonight. We're inspired by you continually and just appreciate what you do, who you are, and giving yourself a little bit, sharing a little bit of yourself tonight. So thank you. And with that, I'll send it over to you for the final shout outs.
Well, my honor. First shout out is to all of y'all, man. Thank y'all for having me at this Boom Bap Chat, man. And I'm proud of y'all works and your efforts. A lot of cats are not trying to get people to read and pay attention. You know, I'm glad that y'all are creating things for them to study, you know, and a real different angle to see this hip hop from. Much continued success. I want to give a shout out to the Black Watch movement, you know, that took me in as a young man and helped me raise up. You know what I'm saying? And to the elders that protected us and guided us during that situation. You know, the elders in my family who prepared me to be a soldier approaching that kind of a movement. I thank them so much for their love and respect. And to my family, my children, to all that support me and my love and my heart and respect. I'm just giving thanks, man. You know, I'm giving thanks for being here 30 years, and I have a lot more to offer. I feel like the message is timeless. You know what I'm saying? So definitely big up to anyone that agrees in that energy. You know, have faith and stay strong. Don't bend. That's what time it is. So much salute, brothers. Again, strength and honor, man, to your journey, man. And I'm here if you need me. Y'all have my map. Y'all contact me. Y'all need to build on anything. I'm here for y'all, my brothers.
Right on, right on. Thank you, sir. And on that note, we say
peace.
peace.